Does anyone want to open us up with prayer?
I cannot.
If I may, who want to, I may, if someone else don't.
You got it, sis.
Okay. Oh, Heavenly Father, Most High, creator of all things, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, as we come before you, your children, and you have allowed us to present ourselves before you this morning on this special day, again, that thou hast made, oh Father. We just give you thanks. We love you for all of your love, your kindness that thou hast shown towards us. You have kept us to this special time and has waken us up to another day that we would give you praise and lift our hands and say thank you for all what you have done for us. And we love you, Father, for where you have brought us from and where you have us right now and where you taking us. Thank you for all of your added protection that you have surrounded us under the Psalms 91, those that dwell in the secret place of the Almighty. You are our shield, our buckler. Your truth is our word to keep us before you. And as we go forth, taking back our position as queens and kings, prince and princess, and this coming year, oh Father, keep us and surround us with your love and your protection. And your set apart name, we pray this day, so shall it be.
All right. Thank you, sis.
Yes, praise. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to open in prayer.
Thank you for being willing to open it in prayer.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
All right. So we got, how many people we got in here now? 5 people. Let's rock. 500 people. 500 people. That's good. All
That's
right.
great. It was only 8 on the boat. Say, hey, he worked it with us.
There you go. May the
Yes.
Most High, my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech approach unto you, his people. May the Most High be praised from everlasting till everlasting. Uzziah, Shabbat Shalom. Uzziah, Shabbat Shalom. Sound like a robot.
You talking to me? I gotta say something.
Yes, yes. Shalom. Can you hear us?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're going in and out, but it's cool. Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, we're going to get started. Okay, family, as you all know how we do, we want to take questions, see if we have any questions that we can answer or bring some understanding to the people in a different way, different light maybe. So are there any questions before we get started?
I have a question.
You have the floor, sis.
I was wondering if you could explain in Genesis when the Most High is talking about creating us in, I believe it says creating man in our image.
Oh, you didn't open up a firecracker with that. I just did this for 2 days. All right, we're gonna have to do some traveling to go there. Wow. That's a really, how'd you come across that question?
So I came across that question when I first was reading the Torah, and it was explained to me by a teacher, another teacher one way. And then I kind of was okay with the explanation, but then I saw your post, your little video. And then I was like, oh yeah, I want to find out what that. So this is your fault.
Yeah, you might be right. That video I did when I was putting up them cameras at my house.
Yep.
Well, that video was put up purposely. It was purposely put up to intrigue the mind of our people. And you asked a very clear, we're going to deal with that. Let me see if we got any other simple questions before we get into that, because that's going to get into that. All right. Any other questions, Sister Abigail? Don't let me forget that, because we're going back.
I won't.
I don't have, hold on, wait, make sure. Oh, okay. Make sure I was on. I don't have a direct question, but I had a couple of scriptures that I wanted to go over pertaining to us in this season.
What do you mean you have? So you're saying you want to teach?
If I may, just a short lesson. It's very short, but it's good.
Well, we got men on the line, though, sis. Why would we do that?
Got who now?
We have men on the line, qualified men able to teach. About
no, it's not to teach. It's not to teach. It just I just had a couple of scriptures to give out along with a title message that I had.
all right.
But you're gonna take over.
No, let me say something. I have nothing against women, nothing. But women are supposed to teach when the men are not able to teach or not qualified or not present. Then a woman stands up and she handles her business. But we do have men on the line, 2 men. What we can do is, if you would like to teach, which I don't have a problem with you teaching, what we would do is we would set up that Shabbat day just for that. So let's say, like, if you wanted to teach, instead of surprising everybody, say, hey, wow, here I go. We'll say, next week, we already know what's going to happen. I could shut up, be quiet, and I could just listen, because it's not like I'm beyond learning. And it's not that I'm saying that you can't teach me anything. I'm not saying those things. All I'm saying is that there's an order to how we do what we do. And when that time comes, you are very welcome to teach. So if you want to give us a little presentation today, 5 minutes if you need, so be it.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. It wasn't like the teacher, the lesson. I understand the order, yes. If I may.
I just want to make it clear. I don't have a problem with a woman teaching. I don't. But we do things in order. We just have to know what's going on. That's all. So go ahead.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it was just simply pertaining to the text that I sent out to everybody. We have been chosen for the Most High present, for his only position, and for us to take back the position now, knowing that we're coming into our new year. So he's looking so because the house of judgment starts with us, and he's preparing us to take position, to rise back up his kings and queens, his prince and princess, into the position to help our brothers and sisters, to get back into position, and also to take his word to other nations, as in Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6 says, we are kadosh, holy, because he is kadosh and holy. We have been chosen as a people, as his prize to present him. We're the one who presenting our Heavenly Father, bringing forth his word so others can understand, and through us that they may learn, and then all we build as a family. And we are his special treasures out, upon this earth, to take, like I say, to take his word. And just one more quick one here. As in Hadassah, Esther, that's chapter 4, verse 14, as her uncle Mordecai told her that she had been chosen as a queen, her royal position, to have been called for a time like this. So what I'm saying is, at the time like this, for all of us, there is no messing around now. We got to press in 10 times harder to strive what the Most High has called us to do, because we are his chosen people. And Jeremiah 1:5, one of the points that stuck out at me, he appointed us as his prophetess, his prophets, to take forth his word. That's our only purpose here. We are a chosen vessel to do his will and to have others to learn what the Most High has said, that we keep his commandments, his laws, statutes, and do what he has called us to do. So that's all I wanted to touch on right now.
You know what, sis? That sounds like a testimony.
Yes.
And it's a very strong testimony for those who heard what you said. And if we can adhere to those type of words in our lives, a lot simpler. It'd be a lot simpler, flow a lot better, a lot more order and structure would be there if we could adhere to that, understanding what the Most High purpose is for us in this collectively.
Yes.
For us collectively as a people. Thank you for bringing that this
morning. Yeah. So those are just a few scriptures. I have more, but I can do them at a later time.
How about this, Sister Danielle?
Yes.
How about every time we start class, before we get into our question and answers, we let you do what you just did for a good 5 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Okay. If you like that, okay.
So yes. You bring inspirational reading, like bring an inspirational reading right before we come in.
Okay. All right. I can do that. Thank you. Yes.
All right. So now we got something established. We're going to be like rocking like that every week, right?
Yes, that's the Most High's will.
Now, you know you can't be late though, right?
Yes.
Like 10:50. All right.
Right. Yes.
Great. That, and I know the rest of the family do too. It was a wonderful piece. And thank you for bringing that to the forefront of our minds.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions for the sister? Okay. I see you removed your mic and I hear you in the other room, but I didn't hear you through the device. Nope. Try lowering your hand first. And then try to speak now. Okay, speak up now. See if you can hear you. Nope. You had the green thing around your name, but it's not there now. Nope. Go out and come back in, maybe. I don't know why we can't hear you. Okay. Everybody can hear me, correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. Sister Kendra, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, sis.
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat
right.
Shalom.
What you got? You got a different screensaver?
It's just my name. I think last time I had my picture up.
Yeah, with that big smile, right?
Yes.
Take off your mute. Take off your mic. Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
Okay, that was a little feedback.
I have the headphones on. I'm not sure. We're probably just too close.
That's better. Go ahead. You had a question?
Yes. Can you explain why a woman who is unclean or a person who's unclean can't eat Passover or the Passover food after?
Can I explain why a woman cannot eat the Passover food? If you're unclean, you should not partake of the holy things. These are the things that's dedicated to the Most High. I believe that's in the book of Leviticus. I want to say 20. I'm not sure. But the things that are dedicated to the Creator, you're not supposed to take of. An unclean person is not supposed to partake of those things. And it's our understanding collectively that the Passover meal is one of those things that's dedicated to the Creator. So if you're unclean, you should not partake of the Passover. We have a good example of people that are unclean that was commanded to do the Passover in the second month. It specifically said that they are unclean by reason of a dead body. But in my understanding, it's specifically speaking about being unclean. But that was an example of a real life situation that could be left on record. But it's, in my understanding, in totality, it's just speaking about being unclean. And you shouldn't partake of the Pesach if you're unclean. Just like a man, if a man wasn't circumcised, he shouldn't partake of the Passover meal either. If he's not circumcised, if the man is not circumcised, he should not partake of the Passover meal. Any other questions?
So we have to eat the next.
Can't hear you. You got your mic muted.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's feedback, but so we have to eat the Passover next month?
Well, let me say this to you. And I think this wholeheartedly in all of my essence. I've been debating this question for many years now. And I'm not saying that this is what we should do right now, but this is what the question has been in my mind, is that we all know that we're unclean. So we all should be keeping the Passover in the second month and not the first month. But I have not allowed that to maturate within my essence yet. So I have not pronounced that to the people. This might be the second time that I even said it in my life, probably. But I know what my thoughts are in my spirit. And my thoughts have always been pondering on, because we are all unclean, maybe we should all, and not only that, it's not even just being unclean. It also says, if you're unclean or if you're on a journey. So being on a journey means we're not in our homeland. So both of those two reasons are the reasons that make me feel that one day I'm gonna have to call that. And that we shouldn't be keeping the Passover in the first month, but in the second month. Now, I know that's gonna upset and anger a lot of people, but you know what I wanna say. The law is the law. And in reality, that's what I've been pondering in my spirit for a minute. The Creator hasn't given me any definite or definitive answer on that yet. And if he does, and that's what I get, that's what we're gonna be doing. It doesn't matter who like it or not. I mean, it's the law. In the law, it says, and if let's go there. Let's go there real quick. Ema, what chapter and verse is that? Take your mic off mute. Tell them.
You said what chapter verse where?
When it speaks about if the people are unclean by reason of the dead.
I think we're in Numbers 9.
Numbers 9. Go ahead. All right. You mind reading, Ema?
Okay. I'm gonna come stand in and read. It's too much echo.
Okay. Very well. Okay, they can hear you. Thank you. We're going to read from Numbers, the 9th chapter. All right, we all there? Read on, please.
Start at verse 1.
Verse 1.
Numbers chapter 9, verse 1. And the Most High spoke unto Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, let the children of Israel keep the Passover in its appointed season. In the 14th day of this month at dusk, ye shall keep it in its appointed season, according to all the statutes of it, and according to all the ordinances thereof, shall ye keep it. And Moshe spoke unto the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover in the first month on the 14th day of the month at dusk in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that the Creator commanded Moshe. So did the children of Israel. But there were certain men who were unclean.
Now, here go the part we got to pay attention to. There were certain men that were unclean. And these men that were unclean was unclean by reason of a dead body. But they were still unclean. Read on, please. Let's see what it says.
Verse 6. But there were certain men who were unclean by the dead body of a man, so that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moshe and before Aharon on that day. And those men said unto him, we are unclean by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we to be kept back, so as not to bring the offering of the Creator in its appointed season among the children of Israel?
So they took that question to Moses. Yeah, they took that question to Moses so that they can keep the holy day at its appointed season, yes or no, because they were unclean. Just so happened that their uncleanness was reason of the dead, but yet they're still unclean. So Moses, being the man that he was, that I wish that a lot more of our people were in this same mind state, Moses said, wait a minute, let me go to the Most High and see what the Most High says. As opposed to just saying, well, you could do this, you could do that. You notice Moses did that a lot throughout the scriptures. When people will present a situation to him, Moses will say, let me go and inquire of the Creator, and then I'll come back to you and let you know. So that's what Moses did right there, because that question probably was new to him. It's probably the first time he was even addressed with that question. So let's see what happens.
Verse 8. And Moshe said unto them, stay ye, that I may hear what the Most High will command concerning you. Verse 9. And the Most High spoke unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or of your generations shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off.
You see what that says? By reason of a dead body or on a journey far off. You want to open your mic? Or you want to wait until after we finish and then ask the question?
It's okay. I said, well, what about a woman unclean?
Okay, you want to close the mic? Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you is that any uncleanness that a person would have on them, we have to understand that that uncleanness separates you from partaking of the most holy things. The Passover meal is a holy event. It's a holy thing. So you should not partake of a Passover meal for any uncleanness. It's not just a woman's cycle. It's also a man if he has a venereal disease, or if a man who has intercourse right before it's time to take the Passover meal and he become unclean, he cannot eat the Passover either. You have to be in a ritual, spiritual cleansed position in order for you to do so. Yes.
As I was reading this, it kind of came clearer to me.
Say it a little louder. Can't hear you.
So as I was reading this morning, it kind of came clear to me. Well, just now, because before we were just reading to one part, but the end of the sentence where it says, when the men came to Moshe and Aharon, they said, we are unclean by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we to be kept back? So we are not to bring the offering of the Creator in its appointed season among the children of Israel. Like that last part of that made me realize that anytime we're unclean, like you kind of like how you just said, but before, because I was like, well, it doesn't say for unclean woman, but the last part of that sentence or that man's statement made it where even if you're unclean, you know that you can't offer anything to the Creator. So it just clicked to me at that point when I just read that, because more sense the way he said it, like in this appointed season, we don't even come to him on a Shabbat day when we're unclean. So I get it now. It's just a lot of times when we're reading the laws, it's usually it specifies, how we're supposed to do it. And because it clearly just keeps saying the dead body of a man, it's confusing in certain ways, because you're still like, but it does not specifically say of an unclean woman or a woman or a man or a woman unclean in another time. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think that's where the question is, because it's specifically saying just the dead body. But I do understand the concept of not giving offering in any unclean state.
And that's correct. And that's the whole purpose. But you cannot partake of the holy things in an unclean condition as well. This is why, again, when you're making prayer to the Creator, tefillah is prayer in Hebrew. When you're making Creator, you shouldn't just approach assume that you can just approve. Okay, thank you, babe. Because you're in a condition of uncleanness, you never know. You never know if somebody you touched was unclean. You don't know if you stepped on somebody's grave or, you don't know. So it's best that you always go before the Almighty and ask him for permission to approach before you just take it upon yourself to just do it, because there were men who just took it upon themselves, and they were Levites. They just took it upon themselves to approach the Creator, and they got put to death. You can't just do that. It's also, to me, it's a form of respect for the Almighty when you ask him, can I approach? As opposed to just assuming that you holy, righteous, and clean and acceptable before this sovereign king. It's a way of just showing honor and respect. My example I like to use, you can't go in the courtroom and just walk up to the judge, can you? Nope. You'll be held up at the door, the security be up on you so quick. So how many times greater is the Most High than the man who sits on the bench in the courthouse of a man?
Stand up when we come in the room.
How about that? How about that? That's right. Babe, you have any other, did that satisfy your questions? Do you have any other ones?
It didn't satisfy it fully. I wanted to know if it satisfied the eating part, but we didn't finish reading because I'm kind of confused if we are unclean. Are we supposed to keep the Passover at all, or are we supposed to move it to the next month? I'm confused.
As of right now, you just don't keep this month at all. And I haven't made any determinations. I'm waiting for the Most High to give me some understanding on those things, as far as rather those people who are unclean the first month should do it the second month. I haven't had that understanding yet. So that would have to be my answer. I really can't say what I don't know. So I can't do that. All right. Sister Annette, you have your hand raised?
Comment on that. A very important scripture, verse 5, it says, and they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month in the wilderness of Sinai. So right there, they was in the presence of the Most High, so for the first Passover, so they was out of captivity. So they was in the presence of the Most High. So it makes more sense now why, you're saying that, we should do it the second, because they was, we're still in captivity now. So they was out of a captivity. They was in the presence of the Most High in the wilderness, according, and it says, according to all that the Most High command Moshe, so that the children of Israel did. So they was in the presence of him at that time. We're back in captivity now. So the second month, I understand what you're saying. It makes a little bit more sense now to me.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah.
Good. May the Most High be praised.
I don't know if anybody else caught that, verse 5. They was all together with the Most High at that time. They was out of captivity.
All right.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? All right. We're going to get into the sister's question that was asked earlier. It's going to, yeah, I guess. I'm going to let the sister read if she is willing to. Will you be able to read, Sister Abigail?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into Sister Abigail's question. Sister Abigail, for the family, would you like to restate your question? Because some people wasn't here. But it's going to be a doozy, fam. I'm telling you right now, get your notebooks, get your pens, your paper, write down the scriptures, write down the verses, and go prove rather your teacher, rather I'm doing right or wrong, go prove it, go verify it. Because you're about to hear some stuff you ain't never heard. And I know you are. Unless you've been following all my lessons real closely like this. Other than that, you about to hear.
My question was, when the Most High was creating man, the scripture says, let us make man. I believe it says, let us make man in our image. So my question was, who is the our?
That was a professional question. And only a superior type of mind can at that level to have that understanding. What I mean by that is common folk walking the street ain't even thinking about who the ours was, because they already know. In their minds, they already know. They feel like they're convinced. Therefore, they don't search out who the ours was. But the ours is a very, very intriguing question. Let me go to Kings first. Let me go look for the Kings. Where is that? First Kings, Second Kings 20. Let me find that first and make sure I'm in the right place. We're 21. 22. All right, look like I'm gonna have to do a search because I ain't got the right place. And I don't want to tell y'all anything that's 20. I thought it was 22, Second Kings 22. All right, let me look it up. Let me look up what I'm looking for. In order for me to properly explain that answer, I have to give you all a little bit of a foundation, a little bit of history, and that's what I want to do. And so I need to well, it's not giving me this man's name. The king of Israel, the most famous king of Israel, what was his name?
The most famous of Israel?
Yeah, the northern kingdom.
Oh, we were studying it. Hold on.
Now you're supposed to know that. Y'all don't know his name? He was married to a woman, Jezebel.
Oh, I
King
read
Ahaz.
Yeah.
How do you spell Ahab?
AHAZ?
No, that's the king of Judah. Ahaz was the king of Judah. Ahab was the king of
Oh,
Samaria.
right. HAAB. All right.
My concordance is not allowing me to find HAHAB. So let me see. Maybe they spelled his name a little.
Use
Try
the
AHAB as in boy. Ahab. AHAB.
Yeah, that's what I did, but it didn't let me.
No, I was saying use the V.
Use the what?
Use V instead of B. You know how they interchange it?
Neither one of them come up. Okay. All right. Where is that chapter at? Ema, one of y'all two might know. Where's that chapter at that we were reading with Josiah, when Josiah came in? When Ahab and Jehoshaphat went to war against the other kingdoms, and Jehoshaphat got betrayed by Ahab. Second Kings chapter 20 or 22?
23.
26? Second Kings 22?
I'm in 22.
That's what
My notes say 22. It says, I know it talks about when he kills, when he was married to Jezebel.
No.
Yeah, it says chapter 22.
Not 22.
It's not? Okay. No.
But I thought.
That's my notes.
Nah. Well, what am I doing? Maybe my book is reading me. Let me just talk, because I don't know where it's at. I don't want to prolong the subject, because I know y'all just like, well, Prince, just get into the meat. So I'm gonna just go ahead and we're gonna travel, okay? It's not often that is it 20? It's not often that I can't remember these scriptures. Usually I do. So it must be the lack of food in my system right now because I'm so hungry. That might be what it is. All right, let's go. There was a situation in the days where this king Ahab was wicked. And King Ahab called the assistance of another king, what was his name? Jehoiakim, to go out to war with him to fight another enemy that he had. And Jehoiakim had a prophet. Iman, you know what? You can look up that prophet and see if his name, wherever his chapter, his name comes in. He had a prophet, Malchah, I believe his name was Malchah. And the prophet told Ahab that the Most High was going to wage war against him, that he was going to die in this war, because he kept saying to go get this prophet, and because this prophet never favors him. But yet he understood that this prophet speaks truth when he speaks. So they go get this prophet, and the people who went to go get the prophet said, don't speak ill about the king. So the prophet told a lie. He came in, he said, yeah, you're going to go out to war, you're going to be victorious. And then King Ahab said, how many times do I tell you not to lie to me? Be truthful and tell me the truth. He said, okay, you're going to die. So he goes out to war. Now, while they out to war, well, prior to them going to war, the Most High had a meeting with the heavenly hosts. And the Most High said, well, he said, who will go out and persuade Ahab that he will fall? You found it, Emma? Okay. He said, who will go out and persuade Ahaz that he will fall? So one spirit said this, and one spirit said this. And then another spirit said, I got it, Creator. I know. I'll go and be a lying spirit in the mouths of his prophets to deceive him, so that then he will fall. See, because these prophets that he had was not prophets of the Most High. They were idolatrous prophets, but yet they were prophets in that time that they called on, that they acknowledged to be prophets. So the Most High said, okay, go ahead and do it, and you shall prevail. The Most High sanctioned it, he approved it, and he put it in motion. I just wish that we can find that verse that speaks about.
Salika, bro, if you go to 1 Kings.
1 Kings 22.
Chapter 22.
Yeah.
Verse 19.
Yep, and I just found it. But
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to wait for you to finish talking so I could tell you.
Then you shut me up. Be like, yo, bro, there it is, right there.
Bro, shut up. It's just Go ahead.
I ain't like the way that sounded, though. You sound too happy.
Over here falling out laughing. I got you. Yeah, it was like sis said, 1 Kings 22:19.
He was real happy to say that one, bro. Shut up. She was real.
You know, I'm just
right,
Josh.
Let's go there real quick. 1 Kings chapter 20, what? Verse what?
22:19.
You can start at 19 or 20.
Right, how about you read it, sis? Can you read it for us?
Okay, but Micaiah said, hear the message from Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting on his throne with his heavenly army standing near, on his right and on his left. Yahuwah said, who will trick Ahab into attacking Ramoth in Gilead, where he will be killed? Some said one thing, some said another. Then one spirit came and stood before Yahuwah and said, I will trick him. Yahuwah said, how will you do it? The spirit answered, I will go to Ahab's prophet and make them tell lies. So Yahuwah said, you will succeed in tricking him. Go and do it.
What the Most High say? What the Most High say?
He said, you will succeed in tricking him. Go and do it.
Now, thank you, sis. I appreciate that.
In the bottom.
The point that I want everybody to see, because people don't understand what takes place in the heavenly host, in the order of things. That heavenly host had a plan. They made a plan. They figured out, the Most High gave them the right to say, what do you think? What do you think? And they figured out, well, we're going to go and do this, we're going to do that. But it couldn't take place until the Most High said, go, and it's going to happen. He had to sanction it. Just like with the story of Job. Somebody get the first chapter of Job, please. The story of Job, and this is going to be a doozy. This is why I got to lay this background so I don't confuse anybody. And so by the time we get to that point, we all understand. First chapter of Job. So let's go to verse 6. Someone read that for me, please.
I'll read it.
Okay, thank you.
Job 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before the Most High, and Satan came also among them. And the Most High said,
so one second. There was a day when the sons of Elohim, Benai Israel, came before the Most High and presented themselves, and Satan was right there. Go ahead, sis. Read on, please.
Verse 7. And the Most High said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Most High said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? And
have you considered my servant Job, Satan? And watch what Satan says about him considering the Creator's servant Job.
That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered the Most High and said, doth Job fear Elohim for naught?
Go ahead, sis, you got it. I just get excited when I read that part.
Hast not thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou
just as with every one of us. Read on.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thy hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Well, what did he say?
But put forth thy hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
He said, put forth thy hand and touch everything that he has, and Job will curse thee to thy face. He said, does Job serve you for nothing? Now read a little bit more and let's see what it says.
Verse 12. And the Most High said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath thy hand. Oh, sorry, I skipped a line. Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand.
What did the Most High tell him to do? He said, everything that he has is in your power, but don't put your hand on him himself. Do we understand what's going on here? Satan had no power of his own. But the Creator also, on the flip side, let Satan get creative as to how he dealt with Job. He just gave him a parameter. Okay, you can do what you want, but don't do this. Earlier, we read where that angel said, I want to do this. The Most High said, okay, go do what you're going to do, and I'm going to make sure you prevail. They cannot do anything of their own is the point that I'm trying to say. But yet the Most High gives them the ability to get creative in their thoughts. Do we all agree so far? Yeah. Are there any questions from anyone at this point? Go ahead. Take your mic off mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
At the top where it says the sons of the Most High, are those angels?
Yeah, you can put your mic back on mute now.
Oh man, that's another discussion, isn't it?
The answer to that question is going to come out in the same question that my sister asked. She says, who was the Elohim? If it wasn't the creator, who was it? My sister Kendra, you have your hand up. Close your mic and lower your hand, please. You have the floor.
I was just going to add that the Most High is the supreme power controlling the powers. So he's not like physically doing it himself, but he's the one giving the orders. So basically it's all in his design.
Okay. It's definitely all in the Most High design. That's true.
And it's the same thing in Genesis 11:7 when he says, let us go down there and confound their language. And then the next verse says, the Most High went down there and confounded their language.
Very good. She's on point. That's good. I'm glad you examined that and noticed that. We're going to go back to 11 and check that out a little bit later. If we don't forget, we're going to travel there and read that part. But this is a very, very controversial subject. But Creator willing, today we're going to bring a closure to that. A lot of people are under the perception that whatever their ideals are is what's the truth. It's very difficult for someone to accept an understanding that they haven't grown accustomed to in their lives. For example, if you tell them that the color of the sky is purple, and they grow up their whole lives and they've been taught that that's purple, well, when you show them what purple really is, they won't accept that. They have a very difficult time. Very few people have the ability to receive the truth over what they have been given. This is why so many of us have been a part of Christianity for so long. And then when the truth came in, we didn't immediately just say, okay, we studied, we meditated, we prayed. And then eventually, I'm not talking about the foundation that you're the children of Israel. I'm talking about that other character ain't got nothing to do with it, or it wasn't the way that you thought it was. Those are the levels that I'm talking about. We don't accept that easily. It takes time for you to open up your spirit, or for the Most High to place a certain spirit on you to cause you to see the differences in doctrine and his truth. It's a difference. So now, let's open our books to the book of Genesis, and I'm going to say we're going to start at verse 22. Sister Abigail, would you mind?
Sure. Genesis 1 verse 22 or Genesis 22?
Genesis 1 verse 22.
Okay.
I hope y'all got y'all pens and papers. Matter of fact, put your recording device on next to your phone or something, because you're going to want to go over this over and over and over just to verify whether what I'm saying is truth or not.
Genesis 1:22. And the Most High blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day.
All right, stop right there. What took place in that verse? Somebody just break it down for me. Somebody explain to us what we just read. Anybody, doesn't matter who it is.
I would say that somebody, whether it be humans or heavenly hosts or whoever at that time, was being told to multiply.
Okay. Did anybody notice? Did anybody notice the creatures that was just brought about in that verse?
Yes.
What were the creatures?
The fowl in the air and the sea creatures.
Now, fowl in the air, where did they come from?
From the sea.
Read that verse.
From they came from the water.
They came from the water. Put your phone on mute, please. The birds actually came from the water. Did anyone see that?
No, I don't see that.
All right, read 22. It says that the waters brought forth everything. And then it also says the sea monsters and then the fowls of the air that flies in the air. Do everyone see that?
Yes.
Yeah. The birds came from the water.
It started in 21 first. Briefly.
Okay, thank you. I try to remember that. It starts in 21. But the birds came from the air, and people don't know that. A lot of people never even paid attention to that. Does anybody know what the Hebrew word is for bird? We did this last week in class. Y'all remember?
I forgot. I can't remember.
Does anyone? Zippor. Who said that?
Yes.
Yediah.
She's right. She's very right. She's absolutely correct. Zippor is the Hebrew word for bird. Now, at this particular time, the birds came from the water. To summarize this whole equation, I need you to go back to Genesis, the first chapter, the first verse. All the pieces are going to come together. Everything that I'm sharing with you is to build your mind so that you'll have the capacity to understand when I drop that bomb. So I'm laying the foundation and I'm getting you familiar with how the heavenly hosts work, how the Most High does what he does, and the different things that's going to be the difference between this and that when I show to you what it's all about. All right, sister, you have it, Genesis 1:1?
Yep.
Could you read it, please?
Yes. In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit.
Stop right there. It's fine. We can deal with that in a minute. Does anybody on here? Is anyone here able to read Hebrew? Does anyone have the Hebrew scriptures that they could read? Okay. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to have to tell you some things, and then you're going to go look it up later on in life, and then you're going to come back and say right or wrong, or you're going to convince yourself that what I'm teaching you is acceptable or not. Amy, you got to mute your mic.
Albert, do you want me to use my blue letter Bible to do it?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
You could go use your blue letter later, but you don't need to bring it up right now. All right, here we go, fam. I'm ready to drop some jewels on you. Genesis 1:1 says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hamashi et ha'am, the heavens, et hashemayim we et haaretz. Bereshit is the first word. Bereshit means in genealogy or in beginning. Bereshit is the genealogy of a thing or its beginning. Now, the word they have there is Bereshit bara. Reshit is Rome, or first. Rosh, Rome is the first. Bereshit means in the first, or in the genealogy, or in the beginning. But Bereshit is translated as being in the beginning, but in reality, Bereshit doesn't mean in the beginning. There's a letter called a patah in the Hebrew under the bet. The first letter is the bet in Bereshit. When you put the, which is a direct article on a word, you put the patah underneath and you leave the ha. So Bereshit would be Bereshit to mean the beginning. Okay? There is no ba there. It's just Bereshit. So when it says Bereshit, that means a beginning and not the beginning. Do we all understand that? And are there any questions on that yet?
Keep going, bro. You got it. Mm-hmm.
Because there is no patah under there, it doesn't mean the beginning. It means a beginning.
I'm sorry. So Bereshit means a beginning.
Yes.
How do we spell it?
Beresheet. Bereshit. Spell it any way you want, just as long as you know what you're saying. It's Hebrew phonetics. And you know, people take Hebrew phonetics in different ways and they spell it. I'm trying to be real careful about what I'm saying and the way that I'm saying it, because I want you to understand this the first time around. So I'm trying to be real specific. Nothing was created in the first chapter of Genesis. Everything came from something else. You follow me? Nothing in the first chapter of Genesis is being created. Everything is coming from somewhere else. Sister Abigail.
Yes.
Please read again from Genesis 1:1.
In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth.
Now, Sister Abigail, when you say Most High, why do you say Most High created the heavens and the earth? According to what you see right there in Genesis.
Why do I say the Most High?
Yes.
Because it says God in my scripture.
Okay. When it says God in the scriptures in English, the word in Hebrew is usually Elohim. Elohim doesn't necessarily mean the creator. And that's where the problem is coming in, where a lot of people don't understand that. When it says Elohim, it doesn't mean that they're referencing the Almighty. What it means is that they're referencing the heavenly host or some type of authority or some type of power. Are we good so far? Okay. So when you see Bereshit bara Elohim, and it's translated in the beginning, God created, but you know better than to use the word God because you have the respect for the Most High. So you say in the beginning, the Creator created, or the Most High created. Bara is the next word that they use for create. Bara. Bara means to form or create. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to mean create. It can mean form and it can mean create. So here we go. We see the word Elohim and we automatically, because our brains have been trained to accept that whenever you see Elohim in the scriptures, that means the creator. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's not true. And I'm going to verify right here in the book of Genesis where it's not true. All right. So we're dealing with Bereshit, in a beginning. This is not the beginning because this was not the creation of all things. If this was the creation of all things, then it would be Bereshit, the creation, or the Rosh, or the beginning. But that's not what it is. This is a beginning. This beginning that we're reading about is of the heavens and of the earth. This is a beginning about how the heavens and the earth were to be implemented or were to be formed, not created. Now, I want y'all to pay special and close attention to this. As Sister Abigail reads on, I want you to pay close attention to some of the things that was already in existence, but yet this is supposed to be the generation history story. Watch some of the things that's already there that something else is coming from, but yet it never tells us where that thing came from. The thing that it got it from, the source, it never tells us when the source was created. It never tells us the formation of the source, but it's going to tell us that that source exists. So, Sister Abigail, start Genesis 1:1 all over again, please.
Okay. In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth was without form and void.
Stop. It never said the earth wasn't there. It said the earth is there, but there's no form to it. It's a bunch of emptiness, but it is there, but it has no shape or no form. Therefore, you can't understand it because it has no shape. It has no consistency to it where it's congealed together, but it is there. Now watch this. Read on, please.
I'll start back verse 2. And the earth was
One thing before you start on, because it's there, you have to understand that it's not being created.
right.
It's only being formed. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
The earth is already there and is being formed. So the word bara, to be translated as create, gives you the wrong impression of what's really being said. There should not be. It should be translated at, in a beginning, Elohim formed the heavens and the earth. Because nothing is being created here. Everything is coming from somewhere else. Sister Abigail, please continue.
Verse 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Stop, please. Where did darkness come from? When was the darkness created? See, so far we have two things that was already here. Not being created in this chapter, but already here. Darkness was upon the face of the what? The deep. Where did the deep come from? What is the deep? Why is it here? Where did it come from? Who created it? Who made it? Only the Most High can create. But you're not going to hear the origin of those things in Genesis 1:1. You only read about the formation of things being formed to take shape and to come into existence in a new form, not in all creation. Watch this. Read on, please.
And the spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters.
Stop for a second. Where the waters? When was the waters created? Not only that, the spirit of Elohim. Who mentioned anything about a spirit existing? If this is the beginning of all creation, where did the spirit come from? See, all these things are already there. That's why the authors of Genesis did not put Bereshit. They put Bereshit because they understand. Let me explain this to you also. In the ancient Hebrew, there was no patah. It was just the consonants. So what I'm sharing with you today, our ancestors already understood. Christianity came in and took our minds and got us believing in things that are not written in our scriptures. Therefore, when we separate from Christianity, we don't fully separate from the idolatry of Christianity. And we bring a lot of that dogma along with us in our service to the King. Like if I taught you how to read, and then you go to another language, a written language. If I taught you how to read a written language, then you go to another language and you see similarities in the language that I taught you, you're just going to automatically think that that letter over there has the same sound of this letter over here. So every time you see that letter, if I taught you the letter in the language was Arabic or Aramaic, if I taught you Aramaic and there's a letter that has a hook on it, look like a C, and I taught you in Aramaic that letter is kaf. Now we go to Swahili and they write their Swahili and they got a letter that look like a kaf because your mind has been programmed that that's a kaf. Every time you look at their alphabet, you don't know nothing on the alphabet, but when you see the letter with that shape, you're going to automatically in your mind assume that that sound is a kaf. And that sound could be a s. But in your mind, because your mind has been programmed, that's how you're going to see things. Why am I saying this? Because Christianity has given us a way of seeing things that has nothing to do with the Most High. And you don't learn that until you go back to the origins of what we have. And that's the Hebrew language. A lot of the dogma that you receive from Christianity will not exist in the original writings. And it takes certain individuals to be able to travel into those places to bring you back what you need. After today, a lot of you are going to be those individuals to bring back some things that a lot of people never know before. Like some of the stuff we cover right now, a lot of people don't know. And we just talked about a little bit of stuff trying to answer a question that's 26 verses away. This is what you got to do sometime. You got to build up the person's mind so that they can receive what you're giving to them. Because if they keep thinking that the sea is a calf, and you're trying to teach them that that sea don't mean that it's a calf, that could be anything. It could be a tav, it could be a yain, it could be anything. You're trying to get them to change the way they think. And that's one of the most difficult jobs for a man in today's world, is to cause a person to change the way they think or believe. So here we go. Nothing in the story of Genesis is being created in the first chapter. Do you know why? First of all, I hate using that terminology. I think that's so ghetto. But let me get back to the story. For our understanding, we have to accept that nothing is being created in the first book of Genesis. You have a question. Okay, I can't see the top of the screen, so please forgive me. But go ahead, you have a question. Go ahead. Unmute and speak, please.
Is there echo? I'm sorry
No.
if it is.
Yep.
So basically, if nothing was being created, like, isn't there a scripture that talks about like the Most High is like the creator of the pot or something like that, in clay or something like that? Like, we're the pot, we're the clay, and he's forming us, right? So would it be safe to say that the earth was kind of like, it says without form, so it was just like something like clay, but he didn't actually form it into anything. It was just a blob or something like that, similar to clay. And then whoever is coming to shape it, I guess, formed it. Do you get what I'm saying? Is that analogy a safe thing to put on what we're talking about?
Oops. Please. That's the only analogy you can put on it. And what you did was you answered your own question. What your answer within your reasoning, while you were reasoning, trying to formulate your question, you actually answered your own question. That's exactly what it was. It was a formation of things. It wasn't a creation of things. But yet, the Most High is the creator of all things. But I'm going to break it down to you so that we all understand. So what I'm going to ask is that we hold the questions for a moment, just a moment. You got a question, write it down. And when I open the floor back up, then present your question. Now, the beginning of Genesis, the first chapter, was a blueprint, not the actual thing. It was a blueprint. It was the Elohim, or the heavenly host, saying, this is what I would like to do, or this was what we would like to do. Where at in history did the Most High give the Elohim the ability to come to him with a plan? Does anyone know? Where do we have in scriptures, in the history of our scriptures, where the Most High allowed the Elohim to come to him with a plan? Do we have anything like that?
Didn't we just read one in 1 Kings 22 about Ahab?
That's exactly what we did. And that's exactly where the example was. In 1 Kings chapter 22, verse 19, I believe it was, is where it begins. Or verse 9, I'm not sure. Verse 9 or 19, one or the other. But that's where it begins, where the Most High gave them the opportunity to say, well, let's do it like this. Well, let's do it like that. Well, let's do it like this. And then the Most High stepped in and said, okay, that's going to work. You're going to be successful. Get it done. Same thing with Genesis, the first chapter. It was a blueprint. It was just a layout, something that the Elohim brought before the Almighty. The Most High ain't had nothing to do with that. That's why they don't use Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. All they use is Elohim in the first chapter. The reason why they use Elohim is because nothing was being created. It wasn't until the second chapter that creation took place. And in the second chapter, Elohim is not hardly used without Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh in front of it. Because out of all the Elohim, the Elohim, Ha-Elohim, the creator, is now the one that's doing the creation. Do we all understand so far? Have I lost anybody yet? Let's move on. So we get down through the whole creation blueprint in the first chapter. And when we get to verse 26, Sister Abigail, read verse 26 for us, please. So now we get to verse 26 and watch what it says.
Verse 26, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Now, you can stop right there. She said a whole lot right there. Let's unpack it a little bit. She said that Elohim said, now let us, anaknu. Anaknu means us, we, us. Let us, osay. Osim should be the word. Let us, let anaknu osim. Let us make, or let us do a thing. Osay is to do. Let us do a thing. Let us, bara, let us make what they call man. In our image, bezal tenu, in the image of us, let us make man, or let us form this creature, this man, Adam. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Who
Okay.
has the book of Isaiah? Somebody get it for me real quick. Isaiah 46 and 4, I think it is.
Okay, I got it.
What does it say? 46 and 4. Start at 4. But read it, please.
You say start at what?
Isaiah 46 and 4. Start at
Okay.
46.
Isaiah 46, verse 4. Even to old age I am the same, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made and I will bear. Yeah, I will carry and will deliver.
Now, this is the verse that we need to pay attention to. Read that, please.
To whom will ye liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be like?
Stop.
Yet,
Stop. The Most High is asking, he's saying, who would you compare unto me and make him equal or like me, that we may be alike? If we are made in the image of the Almighty, then we are like the Most High. So that would answer the question right there. The Most High says, who will you liken unto me and make equal that we may be alike? There is none like unto the Most High. None. Don't ever make that mistake. You're not made in the image of the Almighty. Don't ever think that you are. You, the Hebrew Israelites, are made in the image of man. She's talking about, Prince. You're made in the image of man. And mankind is made in the image of Elohim. Elohim is the heavenly host. That's why when it says, let us make man, it's talking about a lot of us making man. Who is a lot of us? It's the heavenly host. Who's the heavenly host? You are, the children of Israel. And that's why the Most High calls you my sons and my daughters. That's the mystery that we are so lost and bamboozled about. You are Elohim, Israel, and all of you are sons of the Most High. We're the only ones in creation that the Most High said are his sons and daughters. The only one, no other nation. Only the children of Israel. He says, I didn't choose you because you were the largest. You were actually the smallest. So why did he choose us? Because we existed before the earth was created. Before the earth was formed. Before the earth came to be what it is, the children of Israel existed. But not in this physical flesh is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our essence, that nefesh. You want to say that spiritual being? Okay, we can go that route, if that's what you want to say. But what I'm saying is, we existed prior to the creation of the earth. When you read in the New Testament, John 3:16, it says, and the word was Elohim, and the word was with Elohim, made flesh. They weren't talking about Jesus. They was talking about you. You, the children of Israel, is what they were talking about. But they embodied it and made you think that they were talking about somebody else, and they wasn't. That whole Jesus story is talking about you and your life. You and your life, and not some fictitious character for you to go and search after and worship and praise and think that trying in a manner that it's not. Raise your hand, sis, if you want to speak. Raise your hand, please, and we'll grab you. But your mic just might put on mute without you really needing to speak. So if you want to speak, just raise your hand and let us know. But you can definitely take the floor if you choose. As soon as we finish, you gotta hold up. We're taking on questions in a minute, please. All right. Yeah, I'm just letting the sister know if she has a question, you have to raise her hand so we can get to her in a moment. And if you raise your hand, it'll keep you in a certain order, not mistaken. So in the image of Elohim is mankind made. Now, let's go to the 2nd chapter of the book of Genesis. We're going to start at verse 1. Sister Lynette, can you mute your phone, please? Thank you. Abigail, you ready?
Yep. Genesis 2, verse 1. Thus the
Yeah.
heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And
Why would have to rest from anything?
Good point.
The creator of all creation, why would he have to rest from anything? It really means he ceased from all of his doings, but it's not talking about the creator. It's only talking about Elohim. You follow me? Mm-hmm. To stop, to cease from all of his doings is what it really means. Okay? This is the first written formation of the Shabbat, but we're not commanded to keep the Shabbat at this time. This is just the first time it's mentioned in the scriptures. Okay? Read on, please, sis. But watch what happens, watch what takes place. But I also want you to watch how Elohim is now being used as opposed to, how Elohim is now being used as opposed to Ha Elohim or Yohe-Wahe Elohim. Now watch what happens. She just read. She said Elohim ceased. And if you look at it, it's Elohim in Hebrew. Elohim ceased, not the creator. It's a difference. Read on, sis. Let's see what's happening.
Verse 3. And Elohim blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because
So
that
day?
Elohim.
Who's Elohim? The children of Israel.
Children.
But we're going to verify all that later on for the people who don't understand or don't accept or don't believe. We're going to let the scriptures speak. But watch this. Read on, sis, please.
Because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made.
For that in it he had rested from all his works. That who was the he? Elohim. From all the works that Elohim had did and created or formed, because this is what it should be, and made. And they rest. And if I'm not mistaken, the word that they're using here should be bara. Let me look it up real quick. Genesis chapter 2. Near the beginning, for his finished 6 days from all the works which he had made. Osei, it might be Osei. Yeah, Osei. They use the word Osei. Okay, let me see if they use bara at all in that verse. Shame they make Osei. All they keep saying is Osei, back and forth in that verse. And they use the word Elohim. So Elohim did what he made. That's all they're saying. So that's cool so far. All right. Now let's go back. Finish reading, please. Watch this part.
Verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. In the day
These are the generations of the heaven and earth when they were what? When they were formed. When they were formed. But let me make sure I'm right first. Give me a second. Yeah, these are the days of the heaven and earth. The heavens and the earth, when they were, now they use the word bara. And remember when I told you bara means form or create. It can mean either or. But what we're getting ready to get into, because the Most High is ready to drop a bomb for us in this here verse, we're getting ready to get into something that's extremely important. These are the days of the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were formed. Generation mean what? This is the beginnings of these things, of the heavens and the earth when they were formed. Then it says, read on please, in the day.
In the day that the Most High Elohim made the earth and the heavens.
The Most High did what?
Made the earth and the heavens.
Now, in the day that the Most High made the heavens and the earth. Now, what is that saying? This is the conclusion to that portion. The Most High had accepted the blueprint. He said, okay, being it is. The Most High accepted their blueprint of the formation of the heavens and the earth. So he made it. But when the Most High completed it and sanctioned it and said, so shall it be, he made some modifications to their plans. He did alter some of the things that they said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do that. And some of those modifications was altered. And we're going to read some of those modifications right now. Okay? We ready? Finish reading, please, sis.
Verse 5, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Most High Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth.
Stop. Didn't Genesis, the first chapter, somewhere around verse 12 or 11, speak about, might be 13, speaks about every tree in the field and herb producing after itself and all those things? It did, didn't it? It talked about what, let's go there. Genesis, the first chapter.
It's verse 12.
Okay, let's go to verse 12. No, let's start at 11. Let's start at 11. And I want to read real quick, okay, because I want to get it out the way. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the herbs of the grass, bearing seeds according to its kind, and according to its likeness, and the fruit tree bearing fruit, whose seed is in it, according to its kind, on the earth. And it was so. So that gives you the mind right there that thing happened then. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying to you is that was just a blueprint. It didn't happen then. It was so, they approved it. The Elohim said, okay, we like that, let it be. But they had not presented it to the Creator yet. Then when we go back to the second chapter, when the Most High approved their creation, then he made it come into existence. That's why Sister Abigail read what she read. Go ahead, Sister Abigail. Go back to chapter 2 now, please.
Okay. Do you want me to read verse 5 again?
Yes, please. It's going to make sense now.
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb
was in the earth. See, it was a blueprint, so it wasn't in the earth. That was just the layout and how they wanted to do things. But the Most High, in his infinite wisdom, he said, you know what? I can let that be. But in order for that to happen, we got to have a mist, a dew to come upon the ground. Do you know that prior to after the flood, it never rained on the earth? Is it after the flood or after the sin? It's one or the other. But no, I think it's after the flood. After the flood. That was the first time that it rained when the flood, when the people was doing all the evil in the earth, they had never seen rain. Geshem. All they ever seen was the mist come up from the ground and water the earth. So when the flood happened, he said it's going to rain. That's why the people didn't believe in Noah. How in the world you gonna get water to fall from the sky? Man, you crazy. You drunk. Get out of here. They didn't believe him. It wasn't the fact that he said it's going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights. It's the fact that they never seen water fall from the sky. When the Most High caused this to grow, the fruit in the fields, he knew what was needed. And he caused the mist to come up from under the ground to water the earth or to formulate some type of way, but it never was raining. It never rained prior to after the flood or during the flood. Watch, read this, please, and let's watch. Let's pay attention. Now, Genesis 1 just said that it was so, and that gave us the mind state that it already happened. But in Genesis 2, it didn't take place until Genesis 2. Another one of those things that the Most High changed from the original plan. Read on, please.
And every herb of the field before it grew, for the Most High Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth. And there was not a man to till the ground.
There it is right there. The Most High had not caused the rain to come upon the earth. And there was not a man to till the ground. There was no man in the earth at that time. No man. But what you got to understand is that the man came first, not the vegetation. The man came before the vegetation. Watch, read on, let's see.
Okay, verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground.
There went up a mist from the earth and it watered the whole face of the ground. But where's the vegetation? Nothing is there as of yet. But watch what was created next, or what was actually created. Read on, sis, please.
And the Most High Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
So Elohim formed the man. Elohim, Yotzer, the creator. Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, the creator, Elohim, noun formed, or they say formed, I say create. The word is Yotzer. Yotzer also, just like bara, means to form or create. I like to use Yotzer for the Most High because everything in this chapter is being created. Yotzer, created. But when they used the bara in the first chapter, everything was being formed and not created. They never use Yotzer in the first chapter. They only use Yotzer in the second chapter. And if you notice, when they use the verb Yotzer, they always mention Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh Elohim. The creator did this. But they never use the word that to my knowledge, bara, when they said Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh Elohim. I didn't see that. They always use the word Yotzer or Yurts, one form of the word, to denote that something is being created, and only the creator can create. So Elohim said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish of the sea and the earth and the cattle. It was man and woman that he was talking about, am I right? But not the creator. The creator wasn't talking about man and woman. The creator was only talking about man. And he made man from the dust of the earth. But not that the woman wasn't in mind, because he blew the breath of lives within that man, and it was both male and female within the body and the organs of a man. That man had the ability to produce a woman or a man child. So those lives that the Most High blew into the nostrils, the breath of life, the word is Chaim. Chaim is Chaim in Hebrew. Lives, plural. Life, the breath of life. Life is itself is a plural word. The Most High blew the breath of life or lives within the substance, that dirt, that rock, that clay, into that man. And man became a living, Chaim Nafesh, a living soul. Read on, please. You're touching on some important stuff. Now, man was created first, not according to that other plan. According to that other plan, the earth and all that stuff was created first. I'm not saying that the man was created before the earth. No, the earth was here. The man created man from the earth. So the earth was here first. And then before anything started to grow in the population, the Most High, he watered the ground and then went to work over here, created man. And then those things grew up and he gave them names. Watch what happens. Read on, please, sis. Go back to 7, please.
Verse 7, and the Most High Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Man came alive. He became illuminated. And then what next thing took place in the order of creation?
And the Most High Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And
There
out
you
of
is. See, the Creator planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man. But man was created even before the garden. Before any vegetation came about, man was created. And watch what happens in the next verse.
Verse 9, and out of the ground made the Most High Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight.
Stop for a second, please. I pray that you all follow my process. Not my process, but the process of the Torah. Now we're getting into the part where the trees are actually coming to the ground. But man was already created before the trees sprung up. Do y'all follow that, right? I'm not making it up, right? That's what that said. Sister Abigail?
Yes.
You have the read, please.
Okay, verse
9.
Verse 9. And out of the ground made the Most High Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and of evil.
All those things were created in the earth after the man. The man was before all of that. That's why man has dominion over everything, over the heaven, or not the heavens. That's why man had dominion over everything that came forth in the earth, because he was first. And his mind state that the Creator gave him, the man is going to name everything after that. Watch, read on, let's see.
Verse 10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there's gold. And the gold of that land.
Let's go down to 15. We could get on another time. That's a good story. It's a lot of stuff in there for those who are interested in that. But I want to stick to the point that we're trying to get to. Verse 15, please.
And the Most High Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it.
Whoa. And I bet you didn't even know. The man was created before all that vegetation stuff took place. And then when he got that garden and fixed that garden up and built that garden, then he took the man and placed him in the garden. So where was the man at before the Most High took him and placed him within the garden? He was somewhere, wasn't he? Obviously, that place wasn't as good as the garden because it wasn't nothing there. Read on, please. Let's see. Let's watch.
And the Most High Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good.
Yes, go back to 15, please. Start at 15.
15.
I'm sorry.
And that's okay.
When I interrupt you, just start back at that verse, please. Because I be having purpose while I do that, so I try to get a little better at it. But go ahead, please.
15. And the Most High Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Most High to keep it.
And to keep it. Now, I wonder how much work needed to dress and keep. Obviously, it wasn't like it is now, because that curse didn't come to after Adam sinned and did what he did. But read on, let's go.
16. And the Most High Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day...
Did he ever tell that to Eve, to Haba? Did he ever tell Haba not to eat of the fruit of the garden, the tree in the midst of the garden? Did he ever say that to Haba?
No.
He never did. The Most High never. Then how does she know? Where she get instructions from?
From her man.
Oh, say that again, Sister Abigail.
From her man.
Y'all done knocked my computer down on that one. She got a man. And you have so many women today that say, my man can't tell me nothing. So many women today that this is another conversation for another day. So I'm gonna just jump on it, I'm gonna leave it alone. And then I'm gonna jump on it a little bit later. But why, sisters, are we still fighting? Let's just do what the Most High said for us to do. And we're gonna see what that is here. Watch, read on. What's happening, sis? Go ahead and finish, please.
Verse 17, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
Read on.
And the Most High Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make
The Most High, I gotta stop you for a second. Because so many people miss the point right here. What was created so far? The man, and what else?
Vegetation.
The trees.
Vegetation, the earth, all that stuff was made, but there was no animals in the garden. None. Then the Most High said it's not good for man to be alone. Everybody want to say that that's talking about the woman. That ain't what that's talking about right there. It's going to talk about that later. But right there, it's just talking about this man was walking around alone. He had no company. He had nothing to do but till the garden, and which wasn't much. It was like to till that garden. He probably said to the tree, hey, tree, I want you to be tall and cut a little bit off your hair. It was a delight. It wasn't like now where he got to go out and get a shovel, get a hoe in the backhoe and move the ground. Now it is because of the curse. But prior to the curse, there was a different way that he tilled the garden. But now, here we go. The man is walking around, ain't no birds, ain't nothing. He's just walking around. No snails, no nothing on the ground. So all of a sudden, the Creator says, it's not good that man should be alone. And what did he start making for the man? Some company. He made the man some company. And watch what that company is. Read on, sis.
Okay, I will make him a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground, the Most High Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. And
Every what? Every what?
Beast of the field and fowl of the air.
And every what? Where did they come from before? Where did the birds come from before?
The water.
Where are they coming from now?
The ground.
The Most High took their plan and altered it again. And said, I don't want that. He said, I want it to be like this. And that's what he did. He made the birds that originally came from the water. When he got involved, he made them come from the earth. And I like to say this all the time when I read this part. But if you eat chicken, it tastes like what? Tastes like fish. No. Fish and chicken do taste alike.
What?
That's why.
No.
The thing that makes let me tell you. Is the sea.
The fish has a whole different taste than the birds.
Let me go this route. I'm getting tricked out right here. When I used to eat chicken, when I used to eat 29, 30 years ago, I don't know how long, it's been a long time, whatever. But when I used to eat chicken and fish, they used to taste alike. I let y'all ride. Y'all said, y'all the meat eaters now. Chicken might have changed from when it was back then. Y'all the meat eaters. So let me go with this route with you. Even if it don't taste this route with you. Yeah. Even if it don't taste like the chicken, it's still like the fish. The birds look like a fish. Look at a bird. Yeah, they got a little beak mouth. They got a little mouth. They got two things on the side. This tail in the back that the fish use to go through the water. The birds is reversed, and they use their tail to go through the air. Yeah, she said their eyes be in the same place too. They still look like fish. They might not taste like a fish, according to y'all. According to me, they do. But according to y'all, they might not taste like a fish, but tell me they don't still look like a fish.
Oh, yeah.
The fin. Yeah.
That always got something to say. Boy, that Prince, but I don't want to listen to that guy no more. Hey, listen, if you're not speaking, mute your mic, please. If you're not speaking, and we're going to take questions right after we finish this. So you might want to get a piece of paper and a pencil and write down your questions. How many we got in here now? 1,400 people? Oh, that's nice. I'm back in the room. So anybody who know my language know what I'm saying. If you don't know my language, you'll be deceived. So where we at now?
Verse 19.
Zan, could you mute your mic, please, Anta? Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Shalom,
Sister Terry,
shalom.
Monica, Shabbat shalom. Boy, we got the heavy hitters. Eliyah, Shabbat shalom. Man, y'all up in the house. Go ahead, boy. All right, go back, sis.
Okay, verse 19. And out of the ground, the Most High Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And what?
He brought them where? Why the Most High didn't? Why didn't the Most High give them names?
Because
you want
to dominion over them.
She's back here talking. She giving a great answer, but she in the background talking. Baby, speak up. So you know,
because he made them for man.
Because he made what?
He made them for man.
He made them for man.
Mm.
Sister Abigail, what did you say?
Oh, I said because he had dominion over them.
That's the key. He made them for man, therefore man had dominion. I don't know if y'all hear me.
We hear you.
You might hear me, but I don't know if anybody hear me. He made them for man, therefore man had dominion, therefore man gave them their names. Do y'all hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sisters, do you realize that when you get married, you take your husband's name? Why?
He has dominion over us.
He's supposed to. Look, that piece is so hard to swallow.
I know. Nobody answered.
The screen is frozen. Nobody want to say nothing. Abigail's the only one that said it. And when she said it, she had to bust out laughing. I don't think they. You want to speak a little louder?
Oh, I was saying what's crazy is we don't realize that we have our father's names. And that's a man who has dominion over us. And the Most High says when you get married, you know.
That's
so
right.
It's the same essence. It's
that's right.
You just don't want to give control.
That's
to
right. She said, can y'all hear her? She said you don't want to give control to nobody. So you got.
No, we couldn't hear her.
Sure.
All right. Well, she off to the races. But she's absolutely right. She said when you're a child, you got your father's last name, unless your mother was just one of them. Hey, nigga ain't no good. Because you got a lot of them too. Usually you have your father's last name because your father has dominion over you. Unless your mom feel like, oh, I ain't naming him after that nigga, he don't, or don't know who he is. Some cases they don't know who he is. So they don't get their daddy last name. Yeah, you got to stop chewing up in the background. You're distracting me now.
Another fact.
See how she just ran her mouth after I asked her to be quiet? See what I mean? See what I mean? Somebody ain't got dominion over somebody, ain't they? We talking all that big talk, and she's still running off the background. Make the screen fall. Y'all see that? That's the creative. Can y'all see me good? Everybody can see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm out of the screen. The top half of my head in the screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
With a
cool.
all up your body and just scream.
All of my body. I better trust that.
Yeah.
All my body. All right, here we go. I haven't lost my place. Adam was given the ability to name the animals, which shows his dominion over the animals. Do you also know that it was Adam who named the woman woman? Let's read down, please. Read on.
Okay. And whatsoever Adam called the living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all the cattle and to the fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam.
Stop for a second. The Creator created the animals, the beasts of the field, for what reason? What was the reason? Somebody just open your mic and tell me. What was the reason why the Creator created the animals of the field, the birds, and all that stuff?
Because Adam was lonely.
Exactly. He created them to keep Adam company. But yet, even though they were made to keep Adam company, they were under authority and rank in the heavenly order of things. So they submitted themselves to Adam. He was superior by nature over those animals, those creatures. Do we all agree so far? Yep. Is there anyone who disagree with that superiority over creation, over the animals? Therefore, Adam got to name them to show his dominance over them. Now watch this. The Creator said, it's not good for man to be alone. So the Creator said, out of the ground, he formed all these creatures and brought them to the man. Where was the woman at? He didn't even think about making somebody like Adam. Didn't even cross his mind until after he saw that Adam would never be satisfied until he had something specially for himself. Something that was like him. Because watch, all the animals in the field are intermingling, having intercourse, creating little babies, reproducing themselves. All the vegetation in the earth was reproducing itself. Everything was having things after its kind. But Adam, there was nothing for Adam to produce after his kind. So he felt super lonely, super separated. How many times you ever get in a place in your spirit where you feel like something ain't right, but you just can't put your hands on it? Because I promise you, I would almost guarantee you, Adam didn't know that he needed someone who looks just like him. After years of living and surviving and doing whatever he was doing, he had an emptiness about himself. Now, this is all Prince's opinion right now. He had an emptiness about himself, and the Most High recognized his sadness. He said, I got all these creatures to obey him, but yet he's not satisfied with any of them. Let me go back and think about this for a second. Okay, Adam, poof, lay down. Read it, sis, and let's see what happens.
I'll start back at 20. And Adam gave names to all the cattle and to the fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmate for him. And the Most High Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Most High Elohim had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man.
Now, the rib or the side that the Most High made is actually substance. The rib was actually substance. It wasn't really like a bone, but it was a substance. This substance that he took out of the side of a man, he cut the man open, he reached inside and pulled out a substance or an energy out of an energy that already existed. Because remember, the Most High trapped the nefesh, the soul of the man, inside of flesh. So in order to get in, he had to go back in through a chamber to pull a piece of that nefesh out and give a similar illumination for another inanimate being. And this was that woman. So with that, he made what we call woman. But what Adam did was Adam gave woman the name woman. Read on, let's see what happens. Watch what happens.
And And the rib which the Most High Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
Now, who said that she should be called woman?
Adam.
Adam said, Adam gave the woman her name. Therefore, that within itself showed Adam's dominance. What would you say? No. Wait a minute. Why was you willing to accept it when it was talking about the animals? But now that it's talking about the woman, you want to say, no, Prince, it ain't. You know why? A lot of times it's because we have that Western mind state. We have a Western European mind state, and it's very dangerous. A lot of men abuse their authority over their women. And that's why we're in a condition today where a woman don't want to accept that a man is supposed to be her authority. A lot of women don't want to accept it because a lot of men have been extremely abusive toward women, toward their mothers, toward their daughters. Therefore, it causes us as a people to say, oh, no, ain't nobody going to rule over me, us as women, y'all as women, to say, no, I don't want to hear that. I don't want no parts of that. And it makes you dominant in nature. You become masculine in nature and don't realize it. A woman should never be masculine at all, ever. She should only stay in the feminine role. Could she do it? Yeah, she can do it. Is it naturally right? No, it's not naturally right. Women have a purpose in this life, in this earth, and that purpose is greater than becoming a masculine in the things that you do. But I want to bring this out because a lot of people say that, well, man was only given authority over his wife after she committed the sin. No, that's not true. We read that right here. We read that right here, and nobody had committed any abominations. But yet the man was given authority over his wife. When you go back to the original story in Genesis, the first chapter, both man and woman had equal amount of authority. The Creator said, no, I'm not doing it that way. And the Creator created man. And then he brought a woman to the man and let that man name her, therefore gave him dominance over that woman. But in the first chapter, those other beings, the Elohim, when they formed, they said, let us make man and woman. Let's make them both after our image and after our likeness. But when the Creator took over, he changed that. He changed the birds. He changed the formation of man after the creation of the vegetation. The Creator changed so much up. He did things his way. He saw the plan. It's a good plan, but it got to be done like this. He accepted their plan, but it got to be done like this. And he altered it. Why do you think the Most High made man superior in character and government than everything else and everyone on the earth? Why? Nobody know? Nobody has an answer? Let me tell you why. That was a good one. She said because he is. She said because he is. Why was it that the Most High made man superior to even the animals, the vegetation, and the woman, and anything else to come in the earth? Why did the Creator make man superior?
Because he made him last and gave him dominion over everything and said, rule over it and subdue it.
Okay.
He blessed him and said that.
All right. Very good.
That's why he made man last. Because you don't got no preeminence over beast.
All right.
Fear
him. Tell him about. You gonna mute your mic? Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. All right. We got to go back to the story. You might want to watch the whole tape so you can follow up and see where we're at right now. But what's happening is the Most High is magnificent in all of his doings. When you get a crowd of people and put them together, what happens? You get chaos. Because everybody's striving to be the head man. Everybody. If the Creator set up order and puts it in the earth and say, this is the way it's going to be, when you step outside of that order, you get chaos again. This is what the Most High was doing. He established a man before he created all that other stuff so that man will have dominance man will have the authority over everything else. Then he brought all that other stuff into play. But in reality, the Creator established order. And when you got a house where that order is not being obeyed, there is no way that you have what they say is a godly house. It don't work that way. That's not the way the Father set it up. He did what he did for a reason. It's us who take it upon ourselves to discombobulate the order and the structure that the Creator has established. Remember what I say all the time. We are thousands of years removed and many, many, many captivities removed from our right state of mind. With every captivity, with every day, a little portion of our understandings have left us. A little portion of how we would normally do things has left us. And here we are, thousands of years later, hundreds of captivities later, trying to return back to the Most High with this mind that we have. We don't even know that our minds are not really ready right now to receive everything the Most High has for us in one time. So gradually, he has to give us back bits and pieces of information. And when something that he gives to us goes beyond our understanding, we are prone to disregard that thing because it's not what we are accustomed to hearing. Like if I taught you how to speak Arabic and a letter in the Arabic language looked like a C, and then I taught you how to speak Swahili, but I haven't taught you how to speak it. I'm just showing you the language. And then I show you a letter in the Swahili language that look like a C. You're going to associate that because it's a C in Arabic, it has the sound of a ka, that it has the same look and the same sound in Swahili, because you are accustomed to Arabic, because that's what you learned. You didn't learn Swahili. So when you see something in Swahili that looks similar to what you know in Arabic because you was taught, you try to associate that pattern with that language because of what you see using your physical eyes. But you don't even know that in Swahili, that letter that look like a C could be an S. It could be a letter T. It can make any sound. This is how we try to take the teachings of the Most High and incorporate them in our lives as if nothing new can be taught to us, being thousands of years removed away from our natural culture. Most of the things that are taught today in these houses of worship are taught by the Europeans or taught by the Christians. And it's been that way for hundreds of years. And because of that, we all tricked up. And every time somebody show you the Bible, the first thing you think about is religion. Because we so tricked up, the Bible, as soon as somebody mentioned the Bible, first thing you're thinking about is religion. And religion ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. But your mind doesn't allow you to travel that far because you have been encapsulated. And your knowledge only go by as far as what's accustomed to you or what you're accustomed to. Well, you lost your custom. Over a series of thousands of years, you lost your custom, your biblical culture. And that's why a lot of times you see things in the scriptures, you be like, how? Oh, I couldn't do that. Or this don't happen. It's because you lost who you were. A lot of the things that you were able to do, you can't do right now because you haven't gotten back your right mind. But what I want to say to you is that those things are buried in your DNA. They're still here with you. They just been suppressed within your DNA. And certain things will be said that will cause those things to come to the surface. Certain things will be performed in your life that will cause your DNA to go into his genetic memory and pull that thing back to the surface. That's how we on this call right now, because we can all relate that we are the children of Israel. In Isaiah, in the book of Psalms 83, the Most High said that those people said, let us cut them off from being a nation so that the name of Israel will no longer be in their remembrance. For years, and that was thousands of years ago, they set out on that mission. They came together to do that, and they did it, and they were successful. But it's buried within your DNA. So now today, the Most High causes his spirit to come upon you. what does it do? It starts to waken up your DNA, the memory that's stored within your genetic makeup. That's why you're not like man. You're special. You are superior to man. You are gods on earth, if you can understand that, without me having to go to the scripture to verify it. All of you are children of the Most High. All right. So we're going to go to our question and answers first, this part. And if I'm not mistaken, Maisha had her hand up a long time ago, and a brother had his hand up, but I don't know what brother that was. I think it was Azaria, but I don't see him now. So, Ishi, you have the floor. You still want to ask your question? Yes.
Yes, I have two loaded questions. Okay, the first is, let me get it, sorry. Speaking on us being Elohim, right? How you said that we aren't in the image, we're in the image of man or in the image of the Elohim, but the Elohim is us. And if the created the Elohim, aren't we somehow in the image of the creator? And also, part to this question.
How about you stop right there and answer that question first?
Okay.
Mute your mic, please. Nothing is in the image of the creator. Nothing. Nothing is like unto the Most High. His mind is not like our mind. His thoughts are not like our thoughts. Nothing is in the Most High's image. Nothing. Okay. So go with your next portion.
The next portion of that question is, how are we the Elohim? Because I'm not understanding how if we were the Elohim, I'm not understanding how if we were the Elohim, how did we create ourselves if we already existed? That's my first question. I do have a second question.
That was a third question. This was your second question. The next question will be a third question. And you have the ability to ask that question, but I'm just saying this was your second question. I answered your first question. This is your second question, which is a good question. All right. Now, I very strategically stated what I stated, that we are not in the image of man. That man is in the image of Elohim. And that Elohim is not in the image of the creator. I meant those things when I said those things and stated it earlier. So your question is, how could we create ourselves? We didn't create ourselves. The Most High created us. He created us as energy forces. Those energy forces lived in a different realm of existence other than what we are familiar with today. We, being the Elohim, formed the earth and the heavens. We brought it together, we formed it. But when we formed it, we do not and did not have the ability to create it. It was only an ideal, a plan. So our plan, the Most High approved, the plan went kabops with Noah and the flood and all that type of stuff. The Most High started to refix the situation. Who formed the situation? It was our plan, wasn't it? So because you formed it, it went kabop. Now you got to go down there and fix it. Therefore, a lot of the children of Israel, I would say not all of the children of Israel, but a lot of people are claiming Israel who is not Israel. But that's okay. As long as they live in true to that life, it brings an enhancement and enrichment to their lives. Okay? So a lot of the people who are claiming to be Israel, those people, most of them are the true children of Israel. The Most High says in Psalms 82 that ye are gods. What he really is saying is that ye are Elohim, and all of you are children of the Most High. And then he says, arise, O Elohim, and judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. They belong to you. If I'm the creator and I'm your father, and I decide to resign from doing a certain thing, don't I have the right to give it to you? My son is my inheritor. That's what the Most High is saying to us. We are his children. We are the sons of the Most High. Who else did you ever see throughout history of the scriptures that the Most High called his sons? Nobody but the children of Israel. So if we are his sons, and then Job says that there was a day when the sons of Elohim presented themselves, and I believe that Job says the sons of Ha Elohim. So if there's a story in the book of Job where it says the sons of Elohim presented themselves before the Most High, why would you think that's speaking about anybody other than you, the children of Israel? The reason why you would think that is because the Europeans who have done what they've done to you, to us, to all of us, have caused our minds to not be able to expand to a place where the Most High had for us to be in understanding and spiritual development. Okay. Are there any questions? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Question. That didn't what? Well,
I'll put myself on.
no, I'm going to put mine on mute and I'm going to let you speak what you have to say. It was just that at that moment I was trying to think whether I had answered your question or not while you were speaking. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. That kind of helped, but my mind still isn't understanding the part where if we are Elohim and we created man, we created ourselves. I'm still confused on that.
All right. Elohim is man. We're not man. We formed man. Only the creator has the ability to create. Again, I'm trying to explain this to you. Well, maybe this part I might need to make clear to you too, because I don't think I made this part clear for everybody in the audience. When you see in Genesis, the second chapter, verse 7, where the creator created man and blew the breath of life in his nostrils and the breath of life, all that stuff, and man became a living soul, that's not talking about the children of Israel. That's talking about mankind, not the children of Israel. You understand? It's not talking about the children of Israel. It's only talking about the creation of mankind. That's how people got in the earth. The children of Israel got there a totally different way. All right? Ishi, do you have any more questions? You got another question? Oh yeah, you have one more. Everybody who got questions, please write them down so that you don't forget them, because this is very important. Ishi, go ahead.
So I guess this leads into the third question I have. If Elohim created man and then the Most High, not created, but formed, and then the Most High created man from the dust of the ground, who was the man that the Elohim made first? Yes.
As I explained to you, Genesis first was just a blueprint. Nothing was made. It was just a blueprint, a plan that went before the Most High and said, Most High, can we do this? Do you like this? What you think? Nobody was made in the first chapter. It was only a blueprint. Okay? It wasn't until the second chapter that man that was talked about in the first chapter came into existence. All right? All right. I don't know who's next. Sister Abigail, do you know who's next?
Princess is next.
Okay. Amy, you have a question?
Kane, your last, before you closed out, you were saying that your spirit, I'm trying to remember word for word what you said. He was basically saying like the Most High, you have a spirit that the Creator, when he put the breath of life in you, that spirit. And it made me think about the phone call that I came onto the other day, the prayer line, the lifeline conversation y'all were having about spirits and life after death. And it was something you said about, and I think Maury Carruthers asked about, so when sometimes our spirit feels familiar with something, or like, it resonates with something, is that deja vu? Or is that just like, or is that, or is that just our spirit knowing that that's, right? Is it just a connection? And I remember Elder El Natan saying something like deja vu is supposed to be the future. So I just want a little more clarity on that, because what you said just kind of brought that up.
Yeah, we would have to ask all the time for that. Now, I know what I understand what he said. So if you want me to go off my own understanding of what he said, then I can do that. But if you want to get firsthand knowledge, you will have to speak with, because I can't all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also wanted what you understood of
what
the spirit.
Said?
No,
you
could tell me what he said too, but I'm saying with the spirit of, is that deja vu? Is it just your spirit just being connected to something? Like something can happen that you can't really remember if you did it, but in your spirit it feels like you did it.
All right, let me take you somewhere. Put your phone on mute, please. A lot of people who teach in Israel today will not do what you're about to receive. A lot of people won't do this. A lot of people they're afraid of the spirit realm. They're scared. Besides them being scared, they don't have enough knowledge on it because they haven't traveled to the spirit realm to experience certain things. Third thing is that a lot of people who have done these things, who have traveled, who have experienced, they're in denial because people teach you to suppress the spiritual development of mankind or of you, because you're different than just mankind. Things can come to you that won't come to man. Think about it, all those great inventors and people who do 90% of the things that the European man creates or invents is about death and destruction. But 99% of the things that the black man of color, our people invent is all about progression in life. Man created a gasoline that he created a gasoline from water that can fuel your car, that your cars can run on, and it won't be destroying the atmosphere, it won't be destroying the ozone layer, it won't be destroying life, and it causes no animals no problem, just from water. But they don't put it out in circulation. They're not manufacturing it, making cars with it, because it don't profit them. Theirs about profit, and it brings about destruction. But ours is about life. Everybody doesn't have the essence that you have. What I mean by your essence, that energy that exists within you. So a lot of teachers, even in Israel, will run from these type of things. You talk about witchcraft, you talk about spirits, you talk about future, the soul. They can't travel, so they run. I love it. It's a good place to be in. I got one sister on this line that I know love it as well. She can travel there. She likes to talk about these things. She don't close out her mind to spiritual development. What I want for you all to do is open your mind to spiritual development. Because if you stay contained in that box, you're never going to get to see the glory of the Creator. Because the Europeans have written things that makes you afraid of the glory of a Creator. For example, I like to give this parable out to people, and it causes people to think. If you get some new neighbors that move on your block, they dress a little different than you. They move on your block right across the street. And you and your neighbor's been there for 50 years. This new neighbor live on your block, move on your block. It's a man, a wife, and 5 children. And everybody in that household dresses funny, and they wear their hair differently. They wear their hair different. So the first thing going to happen is y'all going to ostracize them and look at them differently. You don't immediately accept them as being of you and of your people, even though they got the money, they moved into the house, they can afford it, they're on the block. They might have more money than you, but because they don't look like you, act like you, or think like you, so you think, because of the way that our appearance is, you don't accept them to be like you. So one day you go over there and you look in the window at 6 o'clock at night because it's dark, and all you see, they got the light on over there. So you go over because you're real newsy. You know you're newsy. Ain't you newsy? You know you're newsy. So you go over there and you peep in their window. You being newsy and you peep in their window. And what you see amazes you. Wow. The father had this big knife, and his son was standing there with a robe on. And the father had this big knife with a bird in his hand, and he cut the bird throat and poured all the blood into this bowl. And you looking in the window, and you seen the father dig some blood out with a piece of hyssop, a little plant, and put it on his son's right earlobe, on his son's right thumb, and on his son's big toe. And you fall back. Oh, you get up, you run. You call the cops, you call the authority, and you report it. Why? Because in the state of mind that you were in, they were doing some evil, wicked stuff. But you went to church every Sunday. And they never taught you that that's how you initiate the priesthood. They never taught you that. So when you see it for the first time coming from that Christian state of mind, you're like, oh, you might see it 10 times until it's explained to you. Now they dress funny because they had on culture clothing with these little strings hanging from the side of their clothing. And it caused you to think that they were different, they were funny. You follow me? And because they were different, you didn't want to accept it. And the things that they did, you shunned because it wasn't the way that you were brought up. They were doing things that was, the whole thing is this. An Israelite at his fullest potential will be mistaken for as a witch. I like to explain that to people. You living the life of an Israelite to your fullest potential, you will be mistaken as a witch. It's just what it is. Ima, have I answered your question? Are you satisfied with that portion of the question?
Okay, Toda Rabba.
All right. All right, Sister Abigail, does we have anyone else any other questions?
Kendra?
Sister Kendra.
So if we're the Elohim, is mankind made in our image? And are we to have dominion over man?
1000%.
Okay. Okay.
But and when you read the scripture, it says you became just like man. So you're gonna die like man.
Right.
You
right.
have to, our journey, this purpose in life is to get right before the Most High so we can receive back our right minds and govern everything in creation. Think about this for a second. Think about this for a second, family. And I like to use this example also when speaking and teaching on this subject. But I think my wife's question was a little bit more in detail that she wanted to ask. But I guess if she's satisfied, I'm cool with it. Here's the thing. Huh? All right, just give me some time. Just raise your hand, get back in the queue. All right, here's the thing. I just forgot where I was getting ready to go. Who's I speaking? Who's I answering? Sister Kendra's question?
Yes.
Oh, I got it. See, the Creator be with us. He be with us. He came and brought that back quick too. This is the thing that I want to bring to knowledge. Sister Danette, your hand is not being able to be raised? Or you just want to say that you're next in line?
I'm just waiting. Yes, I'm just waiting. Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Here's the thing, that wonderful thing that the Most High brought back to my mind. Think about all the prophets throughout history. You may have heard this before, but it's something that needs to be said. Think about all the prophets, not the prophets of the Bible, but the prophets in other religions like Muhammad and all the other prophets that they talk about, Vishnu, all those other prophets. When you get with prophets of other nationalities, they could prophesy, tell you the dreams, tell you what's going to happen. But only the children of Israel had the power over the heavens and the earth and everything in it. The prophets of the Most High could stand up and control the waters by causing the Red Sea to split, by turning the water to turn into dry ground. Prophets of the Most High could do that. The prophets of the Most High could go up into the heavens and cause the sun and the moon to stand still in this orbit. Only the prophets of the Most High had this type of ability. The prophets of the Most High had the ability, as Eliyahu did, Elisha, and bring back life into the dead body of a boy. These are examples of what you will be able to do when you get back to your fullest capacity of your servitude to the great King. It will be just a glimpse of what you're able to do. We can't fathom that right now because our minds have been taken away from us. It's in your DNA though, fam. It can come back. Okay? So, Isha, you had your response? And then I think it was Sister Danette.
I think it was Autumn, then Danette, then Elia.
Okay. Oh, Elia? Okay, very good. Ishi, can you on mute?
Yes. So I like what the sister just said. She kind of wrapped it up for me. If we're the Elohim, then they were created in our image. Okay. I get that part. When you, oh, echo, I'm sorry. When the Most High created man from the dust of the ground. I'm so sorry, everyone. I don't know why there's so much echo.
Put your phone on mute. All right, just say it from here. Just speak loud enough so that they can hear you. You know, come over, but speak loud enough so they can hear you.
Hello?
They can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Can y'all hear her? Okay,
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, when the Most High created man from the dust of the ground, you said that was mankind, that wasn't us. So I'm asking, how did we come about if we were the Elohim?
She's thinking too much. She's thinking too much. She's thinking too much. Y'all hear all that? She done went deep on the brother. All right, let's travel. So basically, how did we get here in the bodies of men? Are we ready? Y'all ready for that answer?
Yep.
All right. Now, for me to answer that question, it's going to cause a little controversy. Remember what I told you about the letter C in one language versus looking at a character that appears to be the letter C in a different language and how you try to make that C fit because that's what you've been taught. So I'm going to share some things with you that's going to cause you to have to open up your mind a little bit and see some things. All right, let's go to Genesis, the 6th chapter. Sister Abigail, could you read that for me when you get it? Genesis 6:1.
Yes.
Excuse me.
And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, and they were fair. And they
Stop. Right, and they did what?
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
Stop there for a second. In my understanding, that's the process of Elohim, us, the children of Israel, coming into the earth. How it actually happened, I can't tell you. I don't know the mystery part of that because it hasn't been shared with me. Yes? So I can't explain every grave detail about a matter because the Creator hasn't shared it with me. So when the Creator shares everything to me, then I'll be able to share it with you guys. So, but here's the matter. When you read that scripture in Hebrew, this is the introductory. And when my sister Abigail read it, she read it in good faith, understanding what she sees in English. But that's not what the Hebrew says. The Hebrews doesn't say the sons of Elohim. The Hebrew says the sons of Ha Elohim. And we all know who Ha Elohim is, right? Ha Elohim is the creator. There is no, well, first of all, Elohim is a plural word. So how do you make a plural word singular to denote one of those plurals? There is no way to do that. In Hebrew, they did it with the word Ha. Ha Elohim means the Elohim and no other. No other. So it put a distinction between the sons of Elohim and Ha Elohim, the creator. Who is Ha Elohim? Ha Elohim is the Most High, the supreme power of all creation. Ha Elohim. So if we're talking about the Most High, who did the Most High ever call his son?
Us.
Who? The children of Israel. Never ever in history of the Tanakh, the entire Tanakh, did the Most High call anyone his son except the children of Israel. The author and translators of this book goes on to the next verse that my sister's about to read, or the completion of that verse, and it talks about, and there were giants in the earth in those times. That don't mean that those giants came from that relationship. See, if and they try to teach it, the angels, they want to say that the sons of Elohim are angels. I'm saying the son of Elohim is Israel, is you. Before you got the name Israel in this earth, there was an Israel that existed in this spiritual, celestial field or energy field of the Most High. They try to say that these angels did something wicked and the Most High cast them down to earth, but that don't say that. That's what you got to add in there and try to make it out some kind of way, but no other scripture supports that. They try to say that the angels did something wicked, so the Most High cast them to earth and made them giants. Giants was born from that union, but that's not what it says. First of all, let me show you the context of a righteous union. The context. These men could have came down and took these women and never married them. That's all through the scriptures, ain't it? Judah, our forefather, took a woman and didn't have no intentions on marrying her. But this scripture actually point out the fact that they took them women as wives. Why did it say that? Because it's trying to let us know that this was a righteous thing and not an evil thing. If we would have just took them as they took all who they chose, then yeah, that could connote that it was something evil going on. But it specifically says that they took wives of these women. So that's an honorable duty for a man to do, to take a wife and not defile the woman. So it lets us know that this Elohim, the sons of Elohim, and if you are what your father is, then that's something special about you right there. But what we do see is that there was a union taking place in the earth that was unlike the union that had taken place in the earth before time. To me, this was the introductory to the nation of Israel in the physical flesh. That's why I can boldly say that Genesis 2:7, when the creation of man, that's not the creation of the nation of Israel in this earth. That's the creation of mankind. The nation of Israel's creation into this earth came right here in Genesis 6th chapter. That's how we got here. Now, the process, I don't know the process. All I know is what the Creator has revealed to me is right there. That was our entry into the earth. And through that union, it doesn't tell you how many children of Israel did it. I mean, how many sons of the Most High. It doesn't say. It could be 2. It could be 2, and they will be the sons of the Most High. It could be 4. They will still be the sons. But let's say it's 2 of them. The thing that's amazing to me is that they saw women, the daughters of man. Look how it says it. Is that what it says, sis? Who were those women? They were the daughters of who?
Of men. Men.
Of men. And they call Adam a man when he was formed. So these sons of Elohim saw the daughters of those men that was made. When men began to multiply in the earth and daughters was born to them, that the sons of Ha Elohim, the sons of the Creator, saw them women and took and chose who they wanted and made them wives. If they was doing something evil, why would the scripture say that they made them wives? It's something to think about. That's all. Think about it. Okay. So that was our entryway into this physical flesh that we have, this jail, this prison, this house. And while here, we were still supposed to honor, reverence, and worship the Almighty, but we lost our way. And through all the generations of men being born on the earth, they carried a certain seed. Certain men carried a certain seed. And when that man didn't carry that seed, the Most High jumped over him. Therefore, we have the word called Hebrew, which means his crossing. Well, whose crossing are we talking about? We're talking about the Most High's crossing, because only the Most High knew that particular lineage of people who had that seed. Certain seed was born in a certain family. Think about it for a minute. Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Shem wasn't the oldest. He wasn't the oldest. So why was he the one who was chosen? When we know that the Most High order always go to the firstborn son first. But why was Shem chosen over Ham and Japheth? Because somebody is crossing over. Then Shem has children. Shem has about 4 or 5, and then it skips over his firstborn, goes to his thirdborn. From his thirdborn, it goes to his grandson. It's carrying it down somewhere, all the way down to Abraham. Abraham had a brother, Nahor, correct? Haran, Nahor had a son, Haran. But Nahor, we don't know if he was the older or Abraham was the older. I guess if we look at it, we can find out. But Abraham had 2 sons. What was Abraham's son's name? First one on the name was what? The father of the Islamic people over there, what was his name?
Ishmael.
Ishmael. Ishmael was the firstborn.
Yeah.
And then after Ishmael, he had another son whose name was what?
Isaac.
Why was Ishmael skipped over and the blessing went to Isaac? It's because Isaac carried that gene within him, that DNA, to produce something great. Isaac himself had 2 sons. What were their names?
Jacob and Esau.
Who was first?
Esau.
Who was the oldest? Esau.
Esau.
Esau was older than Jacob, but yet the blessing didn't go to Jacob. Why? Again, his crossing. Hebrew, Eber. The Most High is the one who's doing the cross, not mankind. So the Most High skipped and crossed over those brothers who were born, even though they was blood brothers. That DNA came through a certain gene. A certain gene carried a certain seed until you got to Jacob. When you got to Jacob, Jacob took that battle. He wrestled with that angel or that heavenly order, that cherubim, whatever he was. He came in the form of a man. Jacob laid down, went to sleep, and had a dream. And in his dream, he wrestled, but he prevailed. He prevailed. And the wrestling say, for thou have wrestled with Elohim and with man and have won. Not the creator, Elohim. He wrestled with that spiritual entity and he won. When he won, he was awarded. What was his reward? Thou shalt no longer be called Jacob. Now thy name shall be Yisrael. And when that happened, that took place, everybody after him that came out of his lineage. It was no more crossing, picking, and choosing no more. Everybody who came after him was chosen. They all carried that seed. And they inhabited the earth. They populated a lot of places in the earth. And they were the special people of the Most High. And that's how we got in this earth. That's my understanding of this story. If you see differently, that's fine. I'm not going to say that you got to accept what I'm saying. You can go do your own research. Let somebody else show you how you got here and what your purpose is. I done showed you how you got here. I showed you what your purpose is. And I'll show you how your ending is going to be. You're going to rule as gods on this earth because that's who you are. All right. I pray that that answered your question. Sister Abigail, who do we have next?
Sister Danette.
Oh, hold on a second,
okay.
please.
Okay.
Put it on mute. All right, hold on, Sister Jeanette, please.
Okay. All right.
Okay, dope. We back. Sister
Okay.
Jeanette, next. Jeanette, go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay. In verse 7 in chapter 2, where he speaks of the breath of life. And I just have a comment that you tell me, give me your opinion about it. The breath of life, to me, it means that he not only just breathed the physical breath into Adam, but spiritual, meaning wisdom, knowledge, discernment, and understanding. And to me, that's what that means. Not just he just physically did it, but he gave him knowledge and understanding, and to carry out and to do all the things that he had called him to do, especially in the garden and naming all the animals. So, what do you take on that?
Excuse me. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good analogy. I totally agree. That spirit had a whole that nephesh that the Most High blessed him with. It had a whole lot of information in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Torah.
Okay. All right.
Sister Abigail, I believe my brother Elijah was next.
Yes.
Okay. You got the floor, my brother. Turn your mic on, please.
And y'all covered a lot of stuff. For one, we are in the image of Elohim after his likeness. Now there he made something before you, the host of heaven. He said he made that with the breath of his mouth. He made them with understanding. That means he already know how to depart from evil. So you can't have no fallen angels. He made them with understanding. He already got knowledge of all holy. He didn't tell them to multiply, be fruitful, and multiply. He commanded that the man, the sons of Adam. The animals are not in his image. We are. It was one of the first things he said. After he made man, he put that tree of knowledge of good and evil there, and the tree of life, and said, "Don't eat from the tree of knowledge and good and evil. And that you do, you will die." And it said him and his wife were naked, and they weren't ashamed. The animals don't walk around with clothes on, but once you got knowledge of good and evil, you knew what was wrong. You can speak. The animals don't speak like we do. They can't reason. They don't have dominion over the earth. But he made you a little lower than the angels. He didn't form his angels from the dust of the dust of the earth. He said he made them the breath of it. He created them with his breath. And that's it. With you go to 6, we read about 6. It said the sons of Elohim, like we read that with Eo. It said the sons of Elohim came to present themselves to Yah. It said Satan was among them. And yes, we are sons of Elohim too. But he made you a little lower than them. Gave you dominion over the earth. You don't got no dominion over the heavens and earth, the heavens. He said, in 6, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born, and the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives whomsoever they choose. It's going to tell you who the sons of Elohim were. And God said, my Ruach shall not abide man forever, for that he also is flesh. Therefore his days shall be 120. The Nephilim were in the earth in those days giants. And also that when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, they bore children unto them. The same were the mighty men that were old. It tell you. It mentioned men after Adam. After him, it mentioned it was more people on the earth, but why I mention those people? The sons of Elohim? Oh, that was that lineage that Noah was coming through. You go to Yeshaya 51. and 7. Hearken unto me, you that know righteousness. You know the people whose Torah is in their heart. Fear you not the taunt of men, neither be dismayed at there be violence. I'm off gonna eat them up like a garment, and a worm shall eat them like wool. My favorite shall be forever. This is the ones that know Yah.
Elijah,
Hey.
do you have a question that you're asking, or you just want to do a presentation?
I'm telling you. He said, awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of Yahweh. The arm of Yah, he tell you who it is. As in the days of old, the generations of ancient times. Long time ago. Are you not at the Hugh Rachab in pieces that pierced the dragon? He told you that Nephilim was in the earth in those days. He knew you wanted to fight. You pierced the dragon. He talked about men of old a long time ago. But too shall I connote. He already talked about certain men. No ka. Are you not it that dropped the sea in the waters of and made the waters of the great deep? Made the depths of the sea a way for the redeemer to pass over. The arm of Yah. It's been here. He's been doing this. He's been a dwelling place unto us in all generations underneath of the everlasting arms. Also, you said too, Shem was Shem wasn't the oldest, but he was the oldest. You said a few things. I'm telling you, the men are old. The arm of Yah. He been mentioning these men. So you're not. We don't have control over the heavens either. They were made before you. He made you last. What made Moshe and them? They prayed. They prayed to Yah. He hear them. They found favor in his eyes. I just told you, the men who just Torah is in their heart. They found favor in Yah's eyes. Yah's counsel with them. He'd tell them what to do. Like he told Moshe, it wasn't that Moshe could stir up he prayed. Yahushua, he prayed that the sun stay still. Because you don't got no dominion over there. We got dominion over this earth. And hear everything here. That's what's magnificent about it, that he parted this sea. The arm of Yah. But
That's it up. Torah Rabah.
Let's talking about Shem. You can read that in chapter 10.
Right. I was actually looking for where it calls Shem, the younger brother.
No, he's the oldest. Unto Shem, the father of the sons of Eber, the elder brother Yafet.
That's what verse? What verse is that?
In 21.
21. And to Shem himself were born the father of the sons of Eber, the brother. So read yours. What's your version say?
To Shem, the father of all the sons of Eber, the elder brother Yafet.
Yes.
To him also were born children.
No, that ain't what this says, though. My version don't say it like that. My version said a little bit different. And I kind of think, I'm going to explain it to you. I kind of think might be the correct order because of the alignment and how they got them lined up. They talk about Shem, Ham, and Yafet out of rank and discipline and respect. But when they give the genealogy, they give Yafet's genealogy first.
What does yours say? What does yours say? 10 and 21.
It says, unto Shem also, the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Yafet the elder, even to him were children born. And that would denote that Yafet is older.
Now, who is it talking about? Who is it talking about? Talking about Shem. It already talked about Yafet, his children. Who is it talking about?
My brother, at this particular place, it's saying that Yafet is the elder. Yafet the elder. It's in Shem's genealogy. Right. It said, like if I said Jonah, the elder. If I said Eliyahu, I'm talking about Eliyahu's younger brother, but Eliyahu, the older, the elder. Doesn't matter.
It does. Which one? I'm asking you because that's a big difference. That's a big difference. And he said, blessed be the Elohim for a reason.
In Hebrew, it says the brother. It says brother Yafet, the greater or the great. And this is the connotation why they're saying, yeah, Gadol is the word there that's being used. Gadol, the greater. And that lets us know that Yafet was the older of those three brothers.
No, he wasn't.
We don't need to keep going back and forth with it because we're prolonging the conversation. But if you can just do a Google search while you're on mute, if you could just go to Google search who were the older between those three and see what history have shown. And then we'll just agree with that. So if you bring it back to me that Shem is the older, then I'll accept that. But just you're not hearing me. Right here. You're not hearing what I'm asking you. Did you do the Google search of who was the oldest between the three?
I see it right here.
You see it where? In the scriptures?
Yeah, right here. 10 and 21.
Well, you obviously you know that you and I have a different opinion on that. So it doesn't matter what I think or what you think.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Which kind of scripture you have?
Brother, let's focus. It doesn't matter.
I'm trying to find out that does matter. I'm just asking you which scripture do you have?
I just read to you from the Hebrew. I read the original Hebrew language and explained to you what it says. Yafet the greater. That's what I read. But what I'm asking you to do is just pull it up on a Google search and see if they give you scripture references or whatever else, something that we might not be seeing, something I don't see, something that you might not see. Somebody else might have saw it. So we can pull it up on a Google search. Maybe they can explain it. And I'm willing to accept if Shem is the older of his brothers. I don't have a problem with that. So if you can do that, or we can get somebody else to do it, it doesn't matter. But I really would like to know because we need to bring that to a close.
Yeah, that's important. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's important.
So do you want to do it or you want me to get someone else to do it? Has anyone looked at that information as of yet? To find out who's the older of the brothers? Ham, Shem, or Yafet? Has any of y'all looked that up yet? All right, I'll do it. Since nobody.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, come over here and read.
It says, in the book of Genesis, they're always in the order Shem, Ham, and Yafet, when all three are listed. However, Genesis 9:24 calls Ham the youngest, and Genesis 10:21 refers ambiguously to Shem as brother of Yafet the elder, which could mean that either is the eldest. So they're saying Ham is the eldest.
Ham is the youngest.
Yeah.
Ham is the youngest. Okay, let's
Yeah,
read
they're saying
on.
Ham is the youngest.
All right. However, Genesis 9:24 calls Ham the youngest, and Genesis 10:21 refers ambiguously unto Shem as brother of Japheth the elder, which means that either is the eldest. Most modern writers accept Shem, Ham, Japheth as reflecting birth order, but this is not always the case. Moses and Rachel also appear as the head of such lists, despite explicit description of them as younger siblings. Following the flood, Japheth is featured in the story of Noah's drunkenness. Ham sees Noah's drunkenness and nakedness in his tent and tells his brother, who then covers their father with a cloak while avoiding the sight. When Noah awakes, he curses Canaan, the son of Ham, and blesses Shem and Japheth. Blessed be the creator Elohim of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave, and may Elohim enlarge Japheth, and that he may dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave. Chapter 10, the tablets, the table of nations describe how earth was populated by the sons of Noah, flood beginning with the descendants of Japheth. Okay, it begins with the descendants of Japheth, talking about the genealogy. The book of Genesis in the first book of the 5 books contains the account. Okay, so I guess that's it, bro. I guess we're just going to either have to wait a minute. Yeah, I guess that's it. It it's not very specific as to which one is older in the English, but in the Hebrew, it says Japheth the elder. You know, that's just what it says. And I can see where you can assume.
Like, who is it talking about, though? It's talking about Shem. Like in Japheth, it's talking about Japheth. And during Ham's time, it's talking about Ham.
You speak Hebrew. You read and write Hebrew. That's good. So when you look at that, the text, if you can pull that text out in 10 and 21, if you can pull that text out and in the Hebrew language, read it and see what it says in reference to that word elder. That elder is right there. It's associated. But you can look it up. You'll see. It says the elder. It says Japheth the elder. And that can be denote that it's talking in reference to Japheth, the elder. That's why it comes right after his name. And that's just going in the Hebrew language. English, you know, that these kind of controversies come up in English. We can never be 100% sure with the English language.
Who received the blessing of the blessing of the firstborn?
I don't know who received the blessing of the firstborn.
Shem did.
All right,
we're gonna.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. But we're gonna move on now. All right. I appreciate your input, and you give us a new way to look at things. We have to look at things differently often when the English doesn't make it specific as to what it's talking about. And you're correct. It could be taken either way. That verse could be taken either way when you're reading in the English language. Torah. All right, are there any other questions? We all done with the questions, everyone? Okay, you got the floor. She coming in here. Okay, she coming in here. Can't hear you all the way back there. You gotta come up a little closer.
The part where it says after the Elohim.
Can you speak a little louder?
After we took as Elohim the wives, right, of man, and we populated the earth and everything, right? Most High was like, my spirit won't deal with them forever because they're men and they've got 120 years, something like that, right?
Yes.
But you said that during like certain seed was carried through certain men until it got to Jacob and then boo, right?
Yes.
So whose spirit was being carried? Ours or
Elohim's spirit. Elohim's spirit. Thank you.
Elohim's spirit.
Yes, the spirit of Elohim was being transferred and moved around.
I mean, that's
Not-
us, right?
Yeah, us, not the creator, but yes, us.
So what does the creator mean, our spirit, his spirit, like reside with man?
It means that he ain't gonna always be in the earth with man. A man's lifespan is gonna be 120 years max, and then he'll be done away with it.
So the Most High didn't want his spirit transferred.
Everything belongs to the Most High. Everything. What happened is man wrestled with the Creator often. We don't obey him, we don't do what he say. And this is even before the giving of the commandments. We didn't do what he says. We bring about all type of evil and all types of things that we did. The Most High got tired of dealing with us in mankind. He got tired of dealing with mankind. So he caused things to take place. And that's where we ended up at today. Still struggling to get right with the Creator. Casey?
Yes. A good example of that is during Moses' time.
Can you speak loud so everybody can hear you?
A good example of what you're speaking of, the Most High Spirit not dwelling with us or residing with us anymore, is during Noah's time when we were out in the wilderness. The Most High, we feared the Most High to the point where us as a people, and because we're doing witness, actually asked the Most High to stop being in our presence. Like we could physically see him. He was physically in the presence, like we could see him from a distance. He had a cloud over us. He was around and we were in his presence. And we feared him such that we actually asked him not to be in our presence and only to speak to the prophets instead of being before us, because we were afraid that due to our wickedness, our uncleanness, or whatever, he'll come against us. So at that point, the Most High Spirit stopped being with us like that. Stopped,
does everyone hear this?
As far as speaking,
no, you can't hear her clearly, and I think she's bringing some good pieces.
Okay, a good example of the Most High Spirit residing with us would be during our time in the wilderness with Moses. During the time in the wilderness with Moses, everyone see the presence of the Most High. He was a cloud that protected us above. He was a light in the distance to guide us, a light to protect us behind us. We could see Moses physically walking into his tent and coming out of his tent with a presence. So due to our evil, due to the things that we were doing, Moses would go up a mountain to speak and be alone with the Most High, and we would be out there doing wickedness. And then when he would come down, the Most High would make the earth quake. So we became so fearful of our own sins, of being unclean, of being unrighteous in front of the Most High, and striking us down, that we actually asked him to leave our presence and to only speak with the prophets, only, go directly to them, because we were afraid, which is another good reason when further in the future, once we have our own land, once the temple is created and the Most High wants to be with his holy men, with his men that has to prepare and their bodies and make themselves clean, our priests, is why he's behind a curtain in his own temple versus being out among his people. It's because we actually asked the Most High not to continually be in our presence because of our own wickedness.
The chapter.
I think that's the important part that I wanted to be able to hear, that the sister speaking, I'm not sure who was speaking, brought out, is that we asked the Most High not to speak to us directly. And I think we have to really reconsider that, because in doing that, we're putting a blockage, we're cutting ourselves off from our power. So thank you for sharing that. And I do later have a question.
All right, you can find that.
Actually, that happens a little bit differently. We asked him not to be in our presence, but there was an issue with Aaron and the sister Mary, where they kind of had words against Moses about all of them being prophets and the Most High speaking to all of them, where the Most High actually put a curse on Mary for having spoken up and made a decision not to speak to all and only speak to Moses, that he would be shown as set apart and that there is a difference. So actually there's a little bit of a difference between those two, but it both happened in the wilderness.
All right, the first reference is in Exodus 20 and 19. It's starting in verse 18, Exodus 20 and 18. We read this a couple weeks ago in class. And it says, and all the people perceived and saw the lightning, saw the voice thundering and the flashes and the voice of the trumpets. And the mountain spoke, and all the people feared and stood off and said to Moses, speak you unto us, and let not Elohim speak unto us unless we die. And Moses saying to them, be of good courage, for Elohim is come to you to try that in fear be among you, that you sin not. Okay? So, and I want to make it clear to you all that in that particular verse, the word is not Elohim, but Ha Elohim. The Creator has come to you. See, when it's referencing the Almighty, it's not just Elohim. Most of the time. Sometimes it might be. Most of the times when they want you to know exactly who that power is, you have to go to the Hebrew language and it will say Ha Elohim. When Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Elohim is come to prove you. Well, in Hebrew, it says, Ha Elohim have come. Ba Ha Elohim, with Ba Abot. Okay? So it's real specific about that Elohim, that energy that has come. Shh. All right? So are there any other questions? Or did we answer the question that was on the floor, right? Are there any other questions?
Elijah has his hand up.
My brother Elijah. Ellie, oh, you had a question? Okay. Go ahead, my brother. You got the floor.
I was gonna say when after all the children of Israel heard the 10 Commandments, Yah spoke to all, and he told Moshe why he gonna do it, so they'd believe you. And they said after they finished hearing the 10 Commandments, they said, we believe you. You go near here, like sister said, and you come back and tell us. But Yah said that was good. That wasn't evil, that was good. He said it was good that you fear me.
Brother,
like that. Cain.
Ellie, hold on 1 second, please. Hold on 1 second. My brother, please forgive me. You have the floor. Go ahead.
And he said that was good. So it wasn't so much like they didn't want his presence, because when after they don't forget, after you heard all of this, you said all that we said we'd do. Moshe said, good, I'll go up to the mountain and get it for you. Are you up there? You made a golden calf. You quickly turned aside away. And Yah told Moshe, when Moshe went back up to pray, he said, I'm going to send an angel before you. And the children of Israel wept because you wanted Yah to go with you. And that's what Moshe's plea was that's what separates us from the rest of the nations, that you go with us and not no angel. And that's when Yah granted Moshe what he asked. He said, I'll give you what you asked, because you have found favor in my eyes. And that's when he said, I'll go with you. My presence will be with you, and I'll give you rest. So it wasn't so much that they didn't want him. As soon as Yah said, I'm not going to go up with you, now you start crying. You wept. So it wasn't so much that, but he said it was good after you heard his voice and said that you didn't want to hear his voice no more. You were afraid of me. Good. That was a good thing.
All right. Torah. Thank you, my brother. Sister Tamar, did you have your hand up?
Yes. In response to the discussion of Moshe and the children of Israel not hearing, I wanted to know if you could have someone read, because I don't know what it says in Hebrew to get a in-depth clarity. Read Jeremiah 31, chapter 31, verse 31, I think, through 35 or 36, depending on what version. And then And then I'd like for us to be able to consider if the response that our ancestors made at the foot of Mount Sinai was may have been correct for that time, but was it really actually the response that the Most High wanted? You know, I think that so I'm gonna stop there.
We would already know what the Most High would want, sis. He would want things to be the way that he began the process, which means that I don't want any. This girl is just feeding me all this food. I ain't ate the first food you gave me.
Well, reason why I asked that question is because just as the Moreh Eliah brought out that the Most High said it is good, you know, that the ancestors said, you go and get the information, bring it back, you know, else the Most High kill, destroy us. And he said it was good. So in light of that response from the Creator that it was good, how would you, how do we figure in Jeremiah 31st chapter, verse 31 through 35?
I don't know what you're talking about when you say that the Most High said it was good. The Most High never said anything was good. What the Most High says is that I accept whatever you say.
I agree.
Is good doesn't mean like that's a really good thing to do. It means I accept what you're saying.
Right, but the word good is there. So like the sea that you referenced earlier, someone would say, okay, he said this is good. This is how we should do. But I agree. It was more so the Most High accepting our requests or the requests of our ancestors. But it doesn't line up with the new covenant that the Most High says he would make with the children of Israel in this day.
Okay. Okay, where does it say the Most High said it was good? Okay, I see. Hold on. Let me read. No, I don't see where the Most High said that was good.
What does it say exactly?
Nothing
After
about
Moshe comes back and children of Israel, the ancestors say they
when back to the children of Israel?
Right, when after the ancestors. And he didn't say that it was good. They have spoken well.
No, I didn't see that part in here. Let me just see. And the Creator said to Moses, thou shalt say unto the house of Jacob, and you shall report it to the children of Israel. You have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. You shall not make silver or gold, and gods of gold you shall not make to thyself. You shall not make me an altar of earth to go up to offer your sacrifices of peace offering, your peace, your sheep, your calves, in the place wherein my name is recorded. And I will come to you and bless you. And you will make to me an altar of stone. You shall not build hewn stones. You shall not go up. I don't see that part.
Devarim 5.
Where?
Devarim 5. Devarim 5 and 5 and 23. 5 and 24.
Yeah, I don't see where it says the Creator said it was good, though. I see 5 and 24 where it repeats it, but I don't.
Hold on, 25 and 25. Hold on.
Is it 28?
Yeah, you can read that's where it started. That's what I said. Read all the way down. It said, for who is there of all flesh that heard the voice of the living speak honest to the fire? We haven't lived. Go you near.
Yeah.
And hear all that Yahweh ain't on they say. You shall speak unto us all that Yahweh and they speak unto you. And we're here and do it. And y'all heard the voice of your words when you spoken to me. And y'all said unto me, I've heard the voice of his words of his people which they have spoken to you. That well said all that they have spoken. Oh that they had such a heart as this always, to fear me and keep all my commandments, that it might be well with them.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere where the creator said.
So it's not the word good. What was the verse exactly?
Oh,
It says
it's
it is, they have spoken well.
okay.
Okay, they have spoken well.
Yeah. You see that they have spoken well?
Right. So there
What
is
verse?
a difference. There is a difference between good and spoken well, because
I don't know until I look it up. That's why I wanted to know where it says spoken well. Where does the Most High say that at?
He said Deuteronomy 5th chapter.
Yeah, 5:24 is where we started. And I don't see where the Most High say anything about well or good. Not that it's not here. Yeah, verse Deuteronomy 5 and what?
What is it? Start at 5 and...
All right, let's it's all right. If you find it, brother, just bring it up, all right?
I just read that, John.
No, we look at
5 and 25.
and now lest we die, not let us not.
Are you reading at 5?
Yes, Deuteronomy 5 and 25. And now let us not die, for this great fire will consume us if we shall hear the voice of the Creator, our Elohim, anymore, and we shall die. For what flesh is there that has heard the voice of a living power speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have heard and shall live?
Verse 28 in my book.
Heard the voice of the words as you spoke to me, and the Creator said to me, I have heard the voice of their words of this people, even all the things that have said to you. They have well said all that they spake. Okay. Hold on a second, please. Let me, y'all can go ahead for a second. Brother Ellie, if you want to speak, or Sister Tamar, I just need to go grab my charger because my battery is dying. I'll be right. Just,
Okay.
No, I got it. I plugged the wrong charger.
Okay.
I came prepared today. Please forgive me. All right, we good. We rolling. Yes, that still doesn't mean we do read where he said, well, have they spoken? I mean, they spoke well, but that don't mean he agrees with what they said or agrees with what they did. Doesn't mean that the Most High is sanctioning like it's okay to do this. So, I mean, we still at the same definition. Still at the same.
To do what?
To not speak to the people. The people said, we don't want the Most High to speak with us. Let Moses do it. And we can see through the example that Moses did it. It wasn't even coming through the people anymore. And the Most High chose a certain group of people, which we call prophets, to speak to the children of Israel now, even today, and in ancient days. He chose prophets, and he put record on that in Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, I think it's verse 15, or Deuteronomy 18 and 15. I think it's 18 and 15 or 15 and 18?
18 and 15. So a prophet will y'all had God raised up unto you.
That's correct.
Of your brethren like unto me. To him you show heart.
That's right. So in that verse, it shows us that the Most High didn't agree with what the children asked him to do and not speak to them. All right, so let's move on. Sister Tamar, was that the conclusion of your questions?
Well, no, I wanted to really, if we could, just visit Jeremiah 31st chapter, verse 30.
Jeremiah 31 or 30?
31, Jeremiah 31. And why I think that we have to, in our return, be able to really take in consideration that which was spoken by the ancestors at the foot of the mount, and the response that we just reviewed, that it was well said. And like you said, the Most High accepted it and he received it, he recorded it. But that doesn't line up with Jeremiah 31, chapter 31, verse 31 through 35. And I have a very unusual version, so I don't think someone else maybe could read it. I just think it's important that we realize in this return that we were disconnected. And as we be reconnected, there is power. It's the power of Yah that will abide within us and through us, that will allow us to do the things that will be pleasing in his sight. Now, I'll yield the mic.
All right. All right. Before we do that, I placed a room in the chat, a place where you can go after we get off the line. I believe they're starting at 4:00. These are the brothers and sisters that will be joining later on in our history. Not right now, but later on, we'll be becoming one community, and we'll be working with them closely. And I just put the link in the room so that after we're concluded here, you all can go there and link in. So you might want to either write down the meeting ID and address or something, because I don't know if you're going to have access to that link once we close this room out. I don't know how that works. Or if you can copy and paste it into another location on your phone, that might work as well. Sometimes you can copy it and then place it in your memos and then go back to your, push the button, and you can go right to the room.
Is it a different site?
Is it a what? Yeah. So Karut's, yeah. All right, so Sister Tamar, you would like to read that now? Where would you like for us to start?
Well, I'd like someone, well, I guess I could read it from a King James version. I have a different in here.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please, if you would. Toda.
Is Jeremiah 31 and 31?
Verse 31 through 35.
Behold, the days come, said Yah. I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel, and with the house of Judah, according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, and that day that I took them out of my hand and bring them out of land Israel. As much as they broke my covenant, all their eyes are Adonai over them, said Yahweh. But this is the covenant that I'll make with the house of Israel after those days, said Yah. I'll put my Torah in their inward part, in their heart while I write it. And I'll be Elohim, I'll be their Elohim. They shall be my people. They shall no more teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me. Least unto the greatest, some say, Yah. For I forget their iniquity and their sin, I remember no more. 30, just to 35?
Yeah. So she wanted us to read that for the purpose of not confusing that with the teachings of the New Testament. And the funny thing is,
for not if confusing with the teachings of the New Testament, that New Testament or New Covenant, no, that's not the New Covenant. The New Covenant is the Spirit of the Most High will be poured out upon his children and will operate through his children, and they will know them for themselves. We won't, it's kind of like when you submit to the will of the Most High, you're not going to be going your own way. We're not going to have all these differences that we think we have, because we'll be moving in unison to the will of the Most High. And it'll be his Spirit upon us that will empower us to do that.
okay, very good. All right, family. Are there any other questions? Sister Abigail said no. All right. Are we all? I mean, if you have any questions, we can ask the questions before we close out. All righty. No more questions. There's no more hands raised. Is that right, sis?
No more hands.
All right.
I have a question to leave with everybody. You don't have to answer it if you don't like. No, but I want to just ask the question, is there any existence outside of the Most High?
No. That's real simple.
So everything he created is within
Everything
himself?
he created. Yeah, yes.
We are within the Most High, and he's not an external being looking down upon us, judging us.
You're saying two different things. You say we are within the Creator, but he's not an external being. That's two different things. The Creator is, the Most High is both in and outside of his creation. You can't go anywhere where you can escape the Almighty. So he's both in and outside of his creation.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
Any other questions? No more? All right. Do we have anybody that can close us out in prayer? So before we close out, I just want to thank you all for coming in this week. We had a lot of thought-provoking questions and conversations today. I pray that you took notes so that you can go and research and look up the information to the best of your ability. I thank the brothers who helped out, the sisters who helped out today to cause the class to be a success. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask that question. And I believe this class that I sent you, our Torah Academy is starting very soon. This is the wrong one. Okay, but I think it's going to be in the same room. I believe it's going to be in that same location. Let me get a second. If you guys give me a second, I can check for the other. Yeah, not Goshen. The Goshen. Goshen's going to be on Zoom. We back on Zoom. All right. All right. Send me the link for the Goshen one. And Amy, also I need the link for the afternoon prayer call. So can you send me both of those, or just post them in the room here? Can you move that phone off that countertop? Yeah.
Oh, it is.
So if you could just put them both in the room. All right, but babe, they people here, you know, she's trying to get the information for you all now. Shalom, baby girl. She's trying to get the information so she can post it in the room because we have a class also here in Goshen, and sometimes they go live. And when we go live in Goshen, you can log in and be a part of that. And then when we close out, it should be the time when they're opening up. But we did move back an hour, so the time might overlap. It may overlap because we moved back an hour. We normally start at 2 o'clock, but we now start at 3 o'clock here in Goshen. But the link that we're going to give you, still copy it, write the information, and then you should be able to log in. But she can't find a phone. Give me a second. Let me go find this. All right, she got it now. So while we're thinking, did anybody decide who would like to close us out in prayer today? Did any of you think about maybe you would like to serve the people of the Most High and close us out in prayer? Nobody? Would you like to close us out? I guess not. She said, I ain't say nothing, Prince. Why are you asking me? Is that you, Ellie? You want to do that? You want to close it out?
I'll do prayer 90. I mean, Psalm 90.
All right, just give us one second, right? Torah.
Prayer Moshe, man, Elohim, Adonai, you've been a dwelling place unto us in all generations. Before the mountains are brought forth, you gave birth to the earth and the worlds. From everlasting to everlasting, your Elohim. You turn his man back to dust and says, return, ye sons of Adam. For 1,000 years in your sight, but yesterday is past and watching the night. He carries on ways with the flood as asleep. In the morning, they're like grass that sprouts fresh. In the morning, it bloometh and sprouts fresh. Eating is cut down and with it. They consume your anger, and by your wrath will be heard away. This our iniquities before you, our secret sins are your countenance. All our days are passed away in your wrath. We bring our years to an end to tell this story. Days of our years are 60 years and 10. Or even by reason of strength, 40 years. Yet they pride, but chisel and then. So it's soon going by me fly away. With the power, your anger, and your wrath, according to spirit, doing you. Teach us to number our days. And give us the heart of wisdom. Turn, O Yahweh, how long? Repent you concerning your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your mercy, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us rejoice according to the days we have afflicted us the year we have seen evil. Let your work be made. Let your work appear unto your servants and your glory upon their children. And let the graciousness of our hand be upon us. And establish you also upon us the work of our hand. Yes, the work of our hand establish you with your name.
Sure, Ravon. All right, family. If you hang around for a second, if the rooms should have the information in it. Sister Abigail, I believe Maisha texted them to you.
Only one, the Goshen.
You haven't got Goshen link?
It should be the one from last night.
So we're gonna, Sister Abigail, if you can you post it in the room?
Yes.
For everyone to have the opportunity to visit it? Okay, so both links should be sent to Sister Abigail or posted in the room. What you do?
Sent it to Abigail. The first link is the afternoon lifeline call. The second one I sent her is the Goshen.
Okay. The first link is the afternoon lifeline call, and the second link is Goshen's call. You probably will go to Goshen first because Goshen starts at 3 o'clock, but then at 4 o'clock, the other link that we sent you should be starting. So you got to go. Mr. Abigail, have you received them yet?
It came to my phone. I'm waiting for it to go to my laptop so I can post it. I might have to just join the Zoom on my phone.
I might can do it for you, sis.
You're gonna post it for me?
I can do the yeah, what I have right now is the afternoon call. I don't have the Goshen link yet. I gotta check for the Goshen link. That's the afternoon call that I just sent in. Ima. Send me the afternoon link. Mr. Abigail, was you able to do it?
It's not showing
Send
up.
me the Goshen link.
I just sent it. Great. This is so that bowl is what I'm supposed to be putting in. Yeah, just make it easy. That one's.
Apple's where? I just sent you it. Send it back to me, please.
That better? Okay, I don't know what happened. I must have did something wrong. All right, family. Are there any questions? We all done, correct? Everybody got the links?
Where's the link?
It should be in the comments. You know how you get to type something to somebody? Where it say more, the chats.
Yeah.
Funny thing, it ain't there for me though, because I guess I got in too late. All right, but that's where they were when I got kicked out. The deceiver came in and kicked me out, so. All right, everyone. Thank you for another successful Shabbat day. I pray that the information that you've learned today, you take with you and apply it to your life after you critique it and make sure it's right. May the Most High be praised. May the Most High be pleased with our efforts. Shabbat shalom. See you all soon. Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Say more.